participants because you committed yourself. You woke up and you get out of bed. Sometimes it's so hard to get out of bed. You made it here, so let's start. So proud of all of you. My name is Betty. I'm from Talent Leader Programs. The one who has been spamming your email and your WhatsApp. But thank you for arriving early today. And as you all know, we are organizing the Women Empowerment Week. So HIREDLY's webinar / physical workshop is our second event actually for the week to prepare all of you for the upcoming convention, which is happening on the 9th March at Bangsa South Grand Nexus Ballroom. So that is where there's the career fair, and HIREDLY will be opening up a resume clinic as well that time. And there'll be companies that will be offering flexible work arrangements, DI policies. So all the 30 companies are curated, they are invited because they practice flexible work arrangements. And they are aware of the target audience, which is the career comebackers, career returnees, and also those who are senior hires and retirees who wish to return to the workforce. Okay, without further ado, I would like to invite HIREDLY's team to take on the floor and continue the session. Get your notebooks ready. Ask any questions you want. They are such amazing people and they will answer accordingly. Okay, thank you.
Hello everyone. So my name is Jarani. I'm from the HIREDLY team itself. So just a little introduction about HIREDLY. HIREDLY actually we are a group where we actually specialize on 3 main platforms. So the first platform would be Nayangaji. So Nayangaji is a non-executive platform. Secondly would be the HIREDLY.com, where we focus on junior to mid-executive roles. And lastly is the HIREDLY platform, where we focus on senior management roles. So you see this pyramid over here, right? So how does it work is that we see like fresh graduates when they decide to graduate or while they are waiting for their results, IPM results, so they tend to go for part-time jobs. So that's where Nayangaji plays the role there for them to look out for jobs for an unexpected role. And once they go back, maybe like after they finish their part-time job, they got their results, and then they decide to go further on their studies. Once they completed their degree, what happens next is they'll try to apply for an exec role. That's where HIREDLY.com comes in. And then down the road, like maybe 5 to 6 years time, they have actually grow in the company that they're working in. And that's where HIREDLY comes into place. It's where we go out and like scout for candidates, or maybe candidates who are looking up for more on a management role or a senior role. So they can just reach out to us as well. So basically, this is just a brief introduction about HIREDLY. Without delaying any further, let me proceed to introduce 2 of our special speakers. One of it is Adeline Wong. She is the manager for HIREDLY. So this is Adeline Wong, and then we have Joselyn, who's the VP of People and Culture. So let's give a round of applause to them, and then we can start our first topic or the first agenda of our career workshop. Thank you, everyone.
If I don't use mic, can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Exactly. Actually, there's an empty seat in front. We have a very nice small cozy group, so I just wanted to. I think you say why I wanted to do this a little bit more formal. Initially, we thought, oh, we have a bigger group, we're going to run this a little bit more like classroom, but so I think, yeah, I generally have a very good. Okay. Oh, sorry. I was told I need to use the mic. There are some chairs in front. Please fill it up, so we try to make this as cozy as possible. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hello everyone. Morning.
Good morning.
How's everyone feeling? Monday morning, this early here all together.
Excited.
Excited, okay, great. Anyone feeling tired? Actually, I feel really tired. I just flew back from Johor Sunday midnight for another talk. So thank you so much. Probably you guys can give me some energy. So Hello, everyone. Hello. Okay, thank you so much for coming. So, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Joselyn Lau, which is the VP of People and Culture in HIREDLY, technically leading the HR department in HIREDLY. So, a little bit about myself. I'm with HIREDLY for almost 2 years now. And prior to that, I actually have 7 years of external recruitment, which you all call as headhunting experience, which is specialized in tech recruitment. And before that, I just want to ask, how many of you actually taken a career break? Wow, everyone, yeah, okay, everyone, that's why you guys are here, right? Okay, so maybe I share a little bit, okay, first job, I was pretty lost. I'm not sure about you guys. So when I first started my career, graduated, I have no idea what I want to do. But you know, under peer pressure, I just technically want to get into.
We have people joining us online, so we need to make sure our mic is yeah, it's on.
Okay, so basically, I was pretty lost after graduated, and you know, under everyone influence, you should always join some big company. So without like thinking much, without knowing what I want, I just got into IBM, which is a pretty big name. Okay, so during my first job, I don't really like what I do, and after a year and plus, I decided to take a career break to really like find out what I really want, because I really struggled with my job back then as in the procurement department as customer fulfillment. All right, so I took about 4 to 5 months of career break to actually travel, do some soul searching to understand what I really want and what's my strength. I believe most of you also done that before, to know like what you really want in your career or life and what's the strength. I guess like very relatable to some of you. Thank you so much for nodding. All right, so yes, that's pretty much about myself and how I taken my career break, understand myself, and eventually I joined recruitment, and here I am today as head of HR in HIREDLY. So next, I'd like to pass the mic to the next speaker.
Hello, hi everyone. I'm Adeline Wong. I'm currently the manager in HIREDLY X actually. Remember the little pyramid that Darani showed just now? So actually I sit on top of the pyramid. I'm not the boss. It's just a business that I'm doing. So I have about 11 years of recruitment experience. Actually, hello, can hear. Actually, on a working experience side, I was an auditor actually. I graduated in accounting. I went into audit, external audit. Later on, I actually took a career switch into recruitment. So I've done about 11 years internal and external. Talent Corp is no stranger to me. I was partnering very closely with them in my previous employer. We actually hired a number of returning women back to my previous employer. So I think I'm here to share a little bit more of that experience as a recruiter, right? Yeah, on the personal side, I have a 3-year-old boy. That's a young mother here. Oh, how old is your kid? 3.5. Oh, okay. So I can get some tips from you later. How about others? How old are some of your kids? Who are moms here, maybe? Oh, how old are your kids?
12 and 10.
12 and 10.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. 14 months.
14 months. Oh, so cute. Must be a very cute age. How about the others? There are some hands here. 3. Okay. So you can share a bit of tips. I think I just wanted to share, like today I came to work very happy because I think I successfully potty trained my son. He's on the 5th day strike. Was willing to go on the potty. So let's hope that continues. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's a little bit about me. Okay.
All right, thank you so much. So yeah, actually I can see most of you like very experienced. I believe you already know how to write a resume and attended like multiple interviews before, like throughout your career. So let's take this like not a formal lecture class. Yeah, it's gonna be a sharing session. We learn from each other, okay? And feel free to ask questions along the way. Yes. So today's agenda, there will be 3 parts. First, yes, for sure. Feel free to take any picture and raise up your hand if you have any question in between. Yeah, and of course, if you ask question, I would really love you guys to, first introduce yourself, let everyone to know you first, and then we, we'll move on with the questions. So first part will be resume workshop, and the second job interview tips, and of course, shaping your digital persona, because online presence is very, very important right now because tech space, be able to have online presence on LinkedIn or any platform is relatively important. Okay. So part one, resume workshop. So the objective, of course, to understand the importance of your CV, your resume, and what are the format and flow which is actually more appropriate. ATS friendly CV. Anyone already know what is ATS? No, okay, good. So later, Adeline will share with you guys what is ATS and how to create ATS friendly resume. And of course, like some of the common misconception. Okay, I shall not call it mistake, but more of like misconception about resume. Okay, understanding the importance of your resume. So why do you think resume is so important to you guys? Maybe one of you can try to answer. Let's have some interaction. Okay, so to share, to showcase your talent to the employer. Okay, very good. And what's your name?
I'm from India and I have 12 years of experience in supply chain.
Wow, 12 years of experience in supply chain management. Thank you so much, FC. Okay, yes. So basically for resume, it's like our first impressions because your employer wouldn't know who are you. It's based on your resume before they even decide to proceed with your application or not, to interview you or not. So basically to win a chance to have the interview opportunity is like a ticket to you. So for example, when you guys go to cinema, you all will watch the trailer first, right? Before even you buy the ticket to watch the full movie. And buying a book, usually I will actually read like what's the book's about, the summary, before I even decide to, pay like 60, 70 just to buy a book, right? So it's the same thing. Your resume basically is your business card, or maybe it's a ticket for you to get a chance to be interviewed by your future employer. So having the resume, be able to showcase your skill set, your experience is very important. So high chance of getting interviewed, showcase your skills and achievement. And of course, yes, first impression counts. All good? Okay, cool. So format and flow. So 3 key things to remember. Basically, you will need to arrange your work experience, especially people with many years of work experience and also employment history, just like me. Okay, so we will need to remember to arrange in reverse chronological order. I'll explain more later. And also the correct file format and practical font size and type. Okay, I'll go into detail now. So yes, just now I mentioned reverse chronological. So basically, the latest experience should be on the top. Imagine you have like more than 15 years of experience and your latest job you put at page 3. To be honest, it should be page 1 because that's like the most relevant, right? For your skill set and your experience. What employer want to hire is based off your latest 1 to 2 jobs. Yeah, which is pretty relevant to the job that you apply to. So your first job, your internship should be at the bottom instead of at the top. All right. And yes, these are the examples that you can see. Not sure if you guys can see it from here. It's not very clear. Okay, so format and flow. So some of you taking pictures already. I pause for a bit first. Okay, so the font type, I will actually recommend Arial, Calibri, Times New Roman, and the font size somewhere between 10 to 12. But just a little bit of sharing, if you're using Calibri font type, right, I would suggest minimum use 11 because Calibri is actually pretty small. So if let's say Calibri 10, to me it's very hard to read. So if you're using Calibri, try to use a minimum of 11 instead of 10. But other than that, it's somewhere around 10 to 12. All right. And if you use more than 12, I would say you will actually take up so much space and it's very hard for you to squeeze in more informations as well. And file type, very important, PDF, so that people can't really change like whatever you've written on the resume, right? Because I can see like the commonly done mistake by the fresh graduate these days is either they just remain in Word file, yeah, and also maybe like picture format. So picture format will actually affect like ATS friendly or not. So Adeline will explain more later. And bullet points to share your experience. So one of the common not to say mistake, but yeah, can I just use mistake? So common mistake, people actually write their experience in a very long paragraph. It's like telling like, grandmother's story, which is not too great. It's very hard to capture the attention for the recruiters or even hiring managers. Fun fact, yeah, so every recruiter actually spend less than a minute to read your resume. So in order for you to actually capture their attention to really read your resume, make sure it's in bullet point and it's easy to digest rather than a long paragraph without like, the highlight of your experience and achievement. Both has to key highlight and also one page. This is more of like entry level, but of course with experienced people, 2 to 3 pages is fine. Sorry. Most of the company actually prefer PDF, and PDF is actually still ATS friendly. For Word format, yes, it is still ATS friendly, but why we actually recommend not to use Word format is because it's still editable for other people. So you wouldn't want people to sort of like edit your experience or some of the details, or maybe like use your resume for some other purpose. So PDF for any documentation or any form of formal documents should always actually set in PDF format. That should be the most safe way. I hope I answer your question.
If there's like word, I think or you're restricting the editing.
Maybe I can take the question. Definitely you
can
yeah. Correct. Yeah, that's doable also. But ultimately, there are some recruiters, there are some companies that may not use Microsoft Words. They may use Google Docs because right now, these days and age, there's so many other words provider, right? So it's best to use a PDF format. Yeah, it's more universal in that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
unless it's
Correct.
Yes, actually 99% of the time, recruiters will ask for PDF. Yeah, it's easier because sometimes the recruiter may not process the CV as the first person. They may give it to a recruitment coordinator or someone a little bit more on operation side to do it. So sometimes, if let's say you don't lock it, then it's quite editable by anyone. Yeah. So it's best to do PDF. And then if let's say they need any other format, you can provide it later on. PDF is the most universal one. Yeah. So we will cover that question.
Yeah, we will go into that. Excellent
I
question.
will explain a little bit more why PDF also. It's because 99% of the time out there, you have a lot of companies that uses a system called ATS, application tracking system. Yeah, so then that will impact your application a little bit. But I'll cover that a little bit more. Yeah.
The company, when you apply the job, right? The company website
Okay.
See.
Yeah, that may exist. We can share that a little bit later. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. What's your name? Stay. Okay, thank you. So I'll move on here for right now craft an effective resume. All right. So yes, how can you craft effective resume? Basically, a strong opening is very important. So just now I mentioned, right, recruiter averagely they spend less than 1 minute to actually read through the resume because like there's thousands of applicants, job seekers each day for maybe like just the same job. So to capture their attention, your career summary and career objective is pretty important. So yes, your career objective, make it stand out like your strong impression. So what should you include in your career objective or summary? Maybe some of you can try answer me. What do you think you should include in your career objective or summary? Anyone? Okay, no worries. I'll just move on. Okay. So yes, basically for career summary, you have to include like relate your experience to the job that you apply to. If some of the keywords that you can see in the job description and also the skill set that you have which is relevant to the job that you apply, to actually include in the job career summary and objective. So what is the key for this? Keep it brief, 3 to 5 sentences will do. So career summary and objective, yeah. Some of you might write a very long career summary, but actually to capture their attention, 3 to 5 sentences is good enough already. Yes, and then include keywords, like I mentioned just now. You read through the job description when you apply a job, try to understand what you can actually relate to it, what is relevant. So you include in your career summary, and also be specific. How can you contribute to the role? All right, and avoid cliches. For example, I'm a good team player, I'm very hardworking, I'm willing to learn. Actually, all this is pretty cliche, which a lot of people include in their career objective, might not really capture the attention of the recruiter or hiring manager. All good? Anyone still taking picture? Take your time. All right, so here's the example. Like, what if after a long career break? Okay, you need to state your intention. There's no right, sorry. Resume, actually, you should actually include after about yourself, your details, your personal particular. You should always include your career objective and summary. Because sometimes they might even skip like the cover letter one. So to be safe, yeah, always include your career summary and objective in the resume itself. Oh, okay. One sentence. So what you include in that sentence usually? Right. So three, I would say break it down 3 to 5 sentence. Yeah. Okay. And all right, so state your intention, goal to rejoin the workforce. Okay, just now I was saying there's no right or wrong of your career break. Any reason is a good reason, but you have to be clear with your reason. Because if let's say you're not able to really share or justify why you actually have the career break, that will be questionable. So long you are able to justify is good enough. There's no right or wrong career break reason, yeah. All right. And also to relate your skill set to the role that you have applied. And most importantly, it's more of the skill or relevancies. Because maybe you already, I'm not sure some of you take like more than 4 or 5 years of career break. Anyone here?
Hi, I'm Arina.
Hi, Arina.
I took a 10 years career break.
Wow.
So I'm here to find out whether there is still opportunity to go back. And just now you were mentioning about reasons, you mentioned reasons of your career break, but I don't see it anywhere there. So where is appropriate to?
I'll cover with the example later, no worries. Wow, 10 years. So maybe you can share a little bit what you did like throughout your 10 years. Oh, maybe you might. Yeah, sure.
Hi, I'm Arina. So I was with,
Hello.
started my career with Petronas for 7 years. Had a traumatizing experience with domestic maid, which forced me to a career break, which was supposed to be momentarily. But then it got prolonged, and then I was ready to go back to the workforce in 2020, and then became.
So it
I
happened.
tried to apply, but I guess opportunity was limited then, in 2020. So I am still hoping, because now the kids are big and there's nothing left to do at home. So yeah, I'm here to find out whether there's still opportunity to go back to the workforce, or what are our options.
Right, okay. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and also a reason of a long career break. Okay, so yes, to set your intention clear for sure, your relevancies and your value, and also your readiness. This is very important because a lot of people maybe after a career break, they want to get back to workforce, but whether or not your readiness is there is important. Like for example, if you're like have a child, like after a career break, so most likely the interviewer or employer would think, okay, have you managed that your child and arrangement well? What is your readiness? How's your readiness? Yeah. So I will go into like some of the example. This is more of like general career objective and summary. So if you can see a good career summary example, it's more specific because it mentioned degree in which education background, which course, and then what sort of role they're applying to, and based on the internship experience with like company XYZ. So what they learn and what they learn can actually apply to the job that they are applying to right now. So this is actually considered a better career summary or career objective as compared to the one on the right-hand side. As you can see, just like very general, I'm a recent graduate looking for a job, which actually there's no substance, right? After reading that, yes, graduate looking for a job, and there's nothing much about yourself or your value and what is your intention. All good? Anyone still taking picture? Can take your time. All right. Next, we'll actually go to example of a career objective. Yeah, so basically you can see experience in one profession and your proven track record in relevant skill set and industry. And remember that skill set and industry, try to relate back to the job that you're going to apply to, okay? And seeking a re-enter workforce after hire, just to focus on personal priorities. And you can actually sort of like emphasize a little bit more what is the personal matters that you were handling if you want to include or not, during interview session, you can elaborate further because from that, they already know it's due to like personal reason. That's why you took a hiatus, right? Okay. And then eager to actually leverage my how many years, like just now, you have more than like how many years of experience? 7 years of experience, yeah, expertise in specific skills, area of expertise to contribute to the job that you are going to apply to. And I think it's important to write like to contribute to the dynamic team and environment because whether or not you are able to blend into the team, to the workforce right now is also a key. Because if you are ready to rejoin back the workforce or you already know what is your intention, but whether or not you can get along with the team, like with the younger generation, the team dynamic, I think it's good that you include this sentence like that. Effectively to dynamic team environment and committed to continuously learning, professional growth. And yes, here's the example. So you want to add on anything?
Maybe there's a question from the floor.
Okay, I can't really reach.
Wait, maybe let me just move my seating a little bit so I can have this conversation with Joselyn also. Maybe let me just try to sit here. Okay, there are some questions on the floor also. I think Fariha asked, what is an example of non-cliche terms in career objective?
Okay, so non-cliche term, just now I mentioned like team player, hardworking. So anything that you find it very generic that you can find online that is considered cliche. So what is not cliche? Personalized based on your own experience and own understanding. That is not cliche. So for example, like how many years of expertise and what skill set that you actually know which is relevant to the job. This is very personalized. And remember, there's no one size fit all resume and also career objective. If today you're applying to different company, right? Try to tweak a little bit for each application for your resume, career summary, and objective. So for example, if you are maybe applying to HIREDLY or maybe applying to EY, for example, so you just mention like willingness to join EY for this role, as I can see like based on my years of experience in this industry, which is pretty relevant to the job that I apply to in EY, and I'm actually ready to contribute to the role. Yeah, so this is less cliche because it's very personalized and it's very relevant. I hope I answered the question. And is there anything else you want to add on, Adeline?
I think you're quite right. I think how do you want to display, let's say you want to share that you are a good team player, how do you want to display that is actually through your experience in working in a team, rather than putting, oh, I'm a good team player. I think it's good to display that through the experience that you have done. You work in a project with 10 individuals. What was the outcome of the project? You took on a leadership role. So I think this, you are able to then explain a little bit more, and you're able to portray that skill set. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
I think there's another question. There's actually there's a number of questions online. We'll try to address maybe some of them here. Then maybe if you got some time, we cover it later on. Yeah. I think there's also another question saying that asking what's the difference between career summary and career objective?
Okay, actually there's different. Objective is what your intention, the reason, your purpose, right? Summary is more of like, summarize your career throughout. So to be fair, the more effective one always use career objective, because in career objective, you already include sort of like your summary. So I hope I'm clear for this part.
Yeah. I think objective also can be very personalized to the company that you're applying to. assuming that you have recruitment experience and you want to apply to a recruitment role, you might want to be a bit more objective, you know, a little bit more specific to the role that you're applying to.
Yeah, because in your employment history, your experience section, technically you are already sharing your career summary, I mean your career, right? So I would say career objective is actually more effective as compared to career summary. All right, thank you.
Yes.
You guys still taking picture? Can I move on? Okay, cool.
There's a question okay, we like questions.
Play our activity period, right? But what if I want to put a finish?
Sorry, yeah. Yes, I cannot. Career switch.
Yeah.
Okay, what if you want to do a career?
Similar in the field, for example, like I have a equity in accounting, only, but want to switch to in a venture capital, for example, private equity, a bit different.
Mm.
How do I explain that?
Okay. Very good questions. Thank you so much. So yes, I think when you do plan to do a career switch, career objective is even more important right now. And at this point, I think your career summary might not even be even relevant anymore, especially when you want to do a career switch, right? So for example, if let's say someone like me, I wanted to do a career switch, not really a big switch lah. Like for example, I used to be a headhunter, external recruitment. It's not really an in-house HR. So when I actually try to get into in-house HR in my career objective, of course, I'll still include my relevant experience as, you know, a headhunter and specialized in tech recruitment, right? But I need to write the reason why I want that switch. So basically, it's because I want to venture into full spectrum of HR, which HR, there is many function, right? For example, so I include like, I would like to have, you know, the exposure to compensation and benefit or maybe IR, etc. But prior to that, I have this amount of experience in external recruitment, which can actually help with my role, the career switch, like a smooth switch. Because if let's say I do not mention anything of my past experience and suddenly I just say I'm actually interested in in-house HR, I'm applying to this, it doesn't really like add up value to my career switch. So career objective for this part, you need to tell the reason why you want to have this switch and how you see the switch. Like for example, your past experience, it's not really entirely not relevant to the switch that that you are aiming for. There is still some relevancy there. So yes, that's the reason that you want to make the career switch that is important to be included in your career objective. I hope I answer your question.
Another question.
Yes, actually for this advice, I even share to fresh graduates and even undergraduate who is applying for internship. Even though they have like limited experience, but it's important for them to personalize each career objective. Yeah, because the company is different, the role is different. Maybe the internship that they are applying to is for different department, right? So it's good to actually personalize. Other than that, you should remain the same because your career history should be the same lah, right? And also your personal particular, it should be the same as well. So it's just that career objective. You just need to be a bit more effort to personalize it. Yeah. Yes.
You have a question? Oh no, okay.
Okay. So I hope everyone is still with me. Maybe I pick someone to do some sharing now. It's maybe also a break for me. Okay, yeah. Maybe someone volunteer to introduce yourself and maybe share what you hope to achieve like out of this session. Someone from the back? Come on. Oh, hi. I pass the mic to you. No problem.
Hi, my name is Aziza.
You might want to come forward because people online cannot really see.
Hello, hi, my name is Aziza. Actually, okay, regarding the career switch, question, I think I have a question. I was an engineer for about 2 years, manufacturing company, and then I took a career break. Right now, it's 1 year. Due to personal issue, I just thought that if I want to do a career switch, to something that is not my expertise, like outside engineering, what is your advice? Because I think it's kind of hard. I've been trying to apply to roles like HR, and it's hard to be considered. How can I do that in my resume to at least they can get a review something?
Thank you so much for sharing. So you wanted, okay, to recap your question. So you wanted a career switch from engineering and to HR, am I right? And how many years of experience prior to that? How many years experience you have in engineering? 2 years. Okay, so this is actually relevant to career planning already. So sometimes you might not be able to get like an instant switch, you know, especially when you are very experienced and your pay is not that low anymore, right? So you should actually slowly plan ahead of your career switch. So for example, right now you have engineering experience 2 years. So you want to go to HR. It seems like two different things, two different expertise, job nature, also very different. So how can you actually venture into HR? You might need to also take a little bit of steps. Okay, for example, you can switch to recruitment consultant, which specialize in engineering, recruiting engineering people. So because of that, your skill set is really relevant already because you understand engineering space. So you can actually help to recruit engineering people better than those HR who are actually not coming from the engineering. Correct. So yes, this could be your first step. You get into recruitment, talent acquisition, which is specializing in the engineering positions and also industry. Or even you join a engineering company which under their recruitment team, HR. Yeah, then you slowly actually branch out your function and specialization, and eventually you can be a full spectrum of HR already. So I hope I answer your question. And also for the career objective, right? So if let's say you already plan ahead of your career switch, for now, if you want to go into maybe engineering company or even be a recruiter for engineering space, you can right now relate yourself like expertise, your skill set, and what you understand in the engineering space, which you can actually contribute to.
Maybe something to add on also, you know, besides putting a good career objective, career summary of what you are trying to do with your experience, I think it's also good to consider a cover letter to explain a little bit more why you want to do that transition. Because a lot of times, right, I'll show you a statistics later, 65% of employers, specifically on LinkedIn, they want people with relevant work experience. That's natural, right? Because I want someone to be, I hire someone, I want the person to come in and really do the job. So that's very natural. So obviously, if I were to look at your CV, I won't consider you as a HR immediately because there's no relevant experience. So how to then do that switch is through also, you know, explaining a little bit more of your aspiration, why you're looking to do HR as a part of your career journey. And beyond that, a lot more, you know, interaction with recruiters, be it online or in person, that will really help you to reach out more opportunities. Yeah, because if you are only solely on relying on application, that's going to be a very, very long journey. Yeah.
Thank you, Adeline. And maybe just a little bit of sharing why career objective is so important. So just happened recently, my friend's brother, so he actually in the tech space, but his experience is a bit here and then not specialized, I would say. So when he applied, finally he planned to like, you know, move out from the current company, trying to apply for a job. He didn't actually include career objective in the resume at all. So based on his experience, I would say it's a bit like scattered here and there. He could be a project manager, he could be a business analyst, he could be like anything. So he applied for months already, not many calls he received. So the sister a bit worried lah, start, you know, approaching me and say, hey, how come my brother so many years of experience in tech space, and when he's looking for a job, no one actually call? Is it because he's too expensive or whatnot? Then I have a look at his resume, and the first thing I see, oh, actually, what kind of job that your brother is aiming for? What kind of path your brother is aiming for? Because it seems like the experience is too vast already, and there's no specialization in that. It's not really clear on the path itself. So, and also he didn't really like share like what are the skill set, be specific on the skill sets that he know. So I advise him to actually include career summary, career objective, to be specified actually what job that he's looking for right now and what skills to be precise here. So actually end up he actually received quite a number of calls from there. Yeah, so this is just an example why career objective is so important to be included in resume, especially when you plan to have career switch and all, and after a long break, right? Okay, so yes, right now we are talking about the body of the resume. Just now it's more of like, the front part, which is the career objective, and right now it's more of like the body to show your experience, your career. So yes, first thing, use bullet point. Just like I mentioned, don't write a long paragraph, which sometimes recruiter don't know where to focus first. So bullet points. Use action verbs. Like manage a team of 5 to 6 senior executives. Develop a deck for what and what. Okay, rather than to apply, to help. It's like you are telling your everyday BAU to the employer rather than what you have achieved or what you have done during your employment history. So use action verbs and also quantify achievements. So your experience here is not about your BAU, what you do or daily life. It's more of like what you have done, what you have achieved. So what's the value that you have? So quantify your experience is very important. For example, okay, let's say a HR. If you write help company to recruit talent, do you think this is actually a very generic kind of career history, right? So to actually make yourself stand out, specialize in talent acquisition for multiple function and manage to actually achieve like 80% of offer acceptance rate. Or maybe I can write like, in the quarter, I managed to fill out how many full-time roles for the company. So all these like quantifiable, and from the sentence itself already know what is the specialization and what you achieved from the past. Okay, so quantify your achievement and focus on result. So when you quantify it, eventually you focus on the result already, right? So it's easier to capture the attention of the employer and also hiring manager. All right, so I'll go to some examples. So to me, this is actually quite a good example for like your employment history. Your position title, your official position title, your company name, and the duration itself. This is something I hope everyone can take note. Be precise on the month and year that you join, and also the month and year that you depart from the company. Because sometimes maybe some of the job seekers do not even include the duration. To me, duration, or to any recruiter or employer, duration in a company is very important, because this actually shows like, your staying power. And also they will want to understand, if let's say you leave a company in a short time, what would be the good reason of leaving? So you can sometimes also include reason of leaving. What's your reason there? Yeah. Okay, and also you can see develop and execute successful marketing campaigns, increase like how many % of revenue. Yeah, and then let a team of 5 marketing professionals. So you can see it's quantifiable, action verbs is there, and key achievements. Sometimes after you share like maybe what you have handled and you want to further emphasize more of your achievement, you can include like key achievement. Yeah, so receive like company-wide recognition. Okay. All right, I'll move on to next step. Okay, right now pass on to Adeline.
Okay, let's give Joselyn a break. Is the mic clear? Can? Oh, I need to speak louder. Oh, can I? Okay, all right. Sorry, we had a bit of a mic issue. Okay, can I get a raise of hand? Who uses this or who have come across this before? Oh, okay. All right. Okay, time to download this. Is this an app? I don't know if there's an app. I usually use the web version. Maybe those that has used it, can you share a little bit more what you use it for? Or maybe can you share a little bit more what is this ChatGPT? Here, raise of hand now. Oh, okay. Oh, very proactive. You must give you a gift later. But the mic.
Yes.
I understand how tired it is handling a kid at
You might want to stand up.
Sometimes of you.
Oh, it's okay. I'm very happy already. This body train, so I'm very happy for the week already. Okay. Yeah, maybe you can share a bit more.
My experience with ChatGPT might not be very relevant in this workshop because I use it for my master's.
Okay.
So I have not used it to generate resume,
Okay.
but rather to help me with my master's assignment.
Okay, that's very useful. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, so ChatGPT in a way is like Google, but a bit more enhanced version. So what I use it besides on a daily basis at work, right? Sometimes I want to explain to my mom, oh, what is this? I find it a little bit hard to explain, especially in Chinese. I actually ask ChatGPT, okay, explain a little bit more. Then I'm able to elaborate it a little bit, in a more layman, especially in Chinese. So actually, ChatGPT is a language model. It's an AI whereby you ask any question, it will help you to answer that question of yours, including if you want to elaborate a little bit more on how to write a better working experience, how to write a better working achievement that quantify your achievement or the outcome of your work itself. You can actually use ChatGPT to do it as a framework. Yeah. So maybe just to share you an example. Yeah. So you can actually use ChatGPT to do some of this. Sometimes, I don't know how to write a career summary. I got 20 years already. When I write it, it's like a whole page. How do I summarize it? You can actually consider utilizing ChatGPT for it. Yeah. So I don't know if you all can read this a little bit because I wanted to show some example.
I share a little bit. So ChatGPT, you can actually use for any language. Can actually help you translate also. I use ChatGPT religiously. I tell you, every day I'm using ChatGPT, especially, HR sometimes need to write some policy or even need to post some stuff related to employees. So I'll actually craft out like my ideas first. Like even I'm being very active on LinkedIn. So every time I have ideas about, some thought about my LinkedIn post, I'll just throw all my thought into ChatGPT and say, based on these pointers, help me to actually craft a better post. For what purpose? You have to be very specific. So yeah, maybe Adeline can share a little bit of example.
So maybe those cannot read, right? So basically, what we ask ChatGPT to do is to revise a career summary that focuses on relevant skills and experience that's related to a data analyst role. Because we wanted to put a more effective summary of the CV itself. So if you can see, this is what ChatGPT summarizes. Yeah. So consider using that. So sometimes, right, the language that ChatGPT uses may not be a style of yours, but it gives you a framework, and then you can try to amend and edit it according to your style. So here's the trick. Yeah.
But you use this ChatGPT, let's say, assuming you have 10 people, using ChatGPT, and it will generate the same kind of output.
Yes, definitely. Hence, what I've shared just now, if you have a specific style of writing that you use in your CV, you may want to edit it according to your personal preference. But it gives you a framework, right? If you see here, as a recent fresh graduate with strong foundation in data analytics, so you see, it gives you a direction of how you should write it, but you may want to tweak the word. Yeah, maybe I can share words here. You can also consider tweaking it a little bit.
Maybe I can add on a little bit. Even 10 people using ChatGPT to generate resume, the result will not be the same because first, you will need to input your own experience, your pointers into ChatGPT first. And also based on that, be specific on, the job that you apply to and the job that you apply to. And from there, right, you maybe can start off with, help me to improvise my current resume sentences. So probably you already have some draft there. And then second, after the result come out already, then I'll put, can help me to correct my grammar mistake or typo mistake now, and then they will regenerate. So you will actually need to regenerate a couple of times for you to get the final outcome. And for sure, it will not be the same with anyone else because your experience is unique. And also it actually sort of like help you to minimize the mistake, grammar mistake, and also typo error. And sometimes it's more of like, thought process, because we have the experience, we know how to, we know what we are doing, but somehow we are not good with words, right? So ChatGPT sort of like help to make your experience more comprehensive, your sentence more comprehensive, rather than just a short, very brief sentence to share about your experience. ChatGPT actually help you to make it more professional and more comprehensive based on the pointer that you have in. Yeah.
Okay, any other question from the floor? Oh, okay. We put our experience. Yeah. And then ask the question. Yeah. So right now, what I do is sometimes I need to summarize my candidate experience summary before I send it to my client. A few ways to do it. One, you can actually form in all your career summary, and then you give instruction saying that please help me to summarize my working experience. So it will summarize it for you. Typically, if let's say you have a very long career summary, it will write you a few paragraphs or even a few sentences, right? You can even ask, you can give a second command saying that please summarize it further for me. It will then summarize into a sentence whereby you are quite satisfied.
It's like talking to your friend, asking for help. So it's the same logic. Just like me, sometimes when I go to different universities to speak, I need to actually prepare my deck, my speaker material. Then I'll just put, okay, I have this speaking session where the topic is about the importance of culture shaping. So help me to write the pointer for my PowerPoint slide. So very specific is for my PowerPoint. So they actually break it down like page 1, what are the pointer, page 2, what are the pointer. If I find it is very lengthy, then I give like the second command, say, make it less than 20 slides, and then they will actually revise again. And then until you are happy, so you just keep on giving command and add, and then get your final outcome. Of course, there is still some deficiency in AI, I would say. Human feelings is always there. I mean, you trust your human instinct. So if there's anything you feel like lacking based on your own experience, your own instinct, you just, add up to make the magic even better. Okay, so I hope we answer your question. Thank you.
Just try using it on a few occasion basis. Then you will understand how to use it more effectively. Yes.
Sometimes my friend even asked ChatGPT, I'm going to celebrate a birthday for my good friend. Can you recommend a few restaurants in KL for dinner, good place for dinner recommendation? They really will list out the restaurant and all. So it's just like Google.
Hold on, I think my mic need to be fixed a little bit. It's not. Sorry, technical error.
Everyone all good? You all can, drink water or go toilet break. Previous slide. Okay, sure. Okay, can. If you
Any question? Recently, my sister just got married on 31st December. I asked ChatGPT, can you write a wedding speech for me now? And ironically, my sister, I should know the best, but I didn't know how to start. So I actually asked ChatGPT to write out a framework, and then of course, I customize it according to what I want to say to my sister, right? But that's how I started my speech, really. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it helps you to actually arrange your thought process. Like sometimes I have a lot of ideas when I'm going to give a talk. My thoughts like all over the place, my ideas. So I just pump everything in, and then that actually help me to arrange the framework to have a better thought process. So the flow is not going to be very choppy and jumpy. It's easy to digest for the audience.
Hello, online, can you hear me? Can? Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay. Oh, okay. Another question.
I to the website. This one you need to sign up first.
Yes, yeah. You can just use a Google account to sign up.
Alright.
It's very, very convenient. Yeah. we are not here to sell ChatGPT. Okay. Yeah, we don't get any commission, but we find it very, very useful in everything. Yeah, including how one of our friends here use it for our her master thesis, right? Yeah.
But true enough, it needs personalization.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, but it gives you that framework. It
Yeah.
teaches you that, okay, this is how I should approach 1, 2, 3, that framework itself.
It basically give you a jump start and probably like cut, I mean, I came from 10 years ago, right?
You need a mic?
So,
I think maybe people online cannot hear.
because I came from like so long ago, I feel like with ChatGPT, it cuts your work process into half at least. So it gives you like what you mentioned, framework, but then surely enough that you have to personalize it because it's very automated.
Yeah.
It sounds very automated, like this madam mentioned just now. And it's it's not personalized. So it's when you read, I'm sure when the experts read from one resume to the other, you could tell it's from ChatGPT,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
sure enough, you have to
Yes.
tweak it.
You gotta tweak it.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yes. Tweak it is the key. Yes.
Okay, because of ChatGPT, right, I'm so sure that you didn't get the same info I do because when I search a question on the Google, right, it automatically will come out. I'm not sure the same as ChatGPT.
I would say for Google it's more of like a search engine, and for ChatGPT is
Google also uses AI, right? So it's not the same. Google also uses AI. Kind of what I do is not a lead on website, it actually will come out like a lead of a push on the data and just alright.
To a certain extent, yes, because right now Google also try to leverage AI in their search engine a little bit more. But you can imagine this is a person. You can imagine ChatGPT is a person. When you give a specific command, it will then write certain things that you're asking it to write. Yeah, it's a bit more, you use it to come up with a certain writing. Google, when you do that search, it will then search based on whatever that's in the internet itself.
And the result usually will lead you to different website and portals, right? So that's for Google. And for ChatGPT, because it's very personalized, like what I mentioned earlier to one of you, is like talking to your friend. So it directly answer your question, but it depends on, the occasion also. Sometimes I find like you search something from Google is more effective than asking ChatGPT, but also the other time I feel like using ChatGPT is better than using Google. So it depends on the needs. Yes.
Okay. If you have any other question, we can circle back later. Actually, you can try using it right now. If any questions, you can come to us later. We can try to help you a little bit. Okay, cool. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Okay, I want to share a little bit more on ATS system. Anyone familiar? Anyone have applied a job recently? Do you want to?
I've used ATM
Okay.
in my previous company, applicant tracking system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Maybe just to share a little bit more. What is an ATS? What is an applicant tracking system? If you go to a company right now, usually what they want you to do is sign up an account. They will route you in the party website. Maybe some of the party website that you may heard of is Workday, Palio, Rio HR. I think there's also what else?
DM Recruit. DM Recruit.
Yeah. So there's some of this website that you may come across that's a bit more popular in the other employers, right? So they'll route you to a third party website, and they want you to sign up an account and then fill out all the details and upload the CV. So that is an application tracking system. Yeah. Do you all know why you need to do that? Why can't I just send the CV to the recruiter? Ayo, this one so much work. I need to like go 10 pages for application. Anyone knows why?
I think they
Yes, yes, yes.
I think the on or delegated qualification they are pre-defined whether it's matched to the
Yeah. Maybe just let me reword a little bit more what you shared. Sorry.
Thank you so much.
My name is
Partner. So what partner shared just now is the company wants to then shortlist candidate based on the predefined requirement or keywords. So that's exactly what every company is trying to do right now. Imagine, right, as a company, especially on a big MNC, you will receive thousands of applicants in a day, right? So then what application ATS does is they help to streamline and shortlist the CV based on keywords, based on requirement. Yeah. So how to game this? Okay. All right. So I think I've shared everything just now already, right? Okay. So this is what you need to keep in mind. Hence, it's quite important. Number one, it's quite important to put it in a PDF format. Of course, there are some companies that maybe they have their internal system that they prefer words. I believe most of the companies out there, they would prefer PDF because it's more readable and easier to pick up the keywords itself. Yeah. So this is very, very important to make sure that your CV falls into the top, maybe 50 to 20 CV that shortlisted. Use relevant keywords.
Yeah, because they have the percentage like relevancy or how many percent match. So if, let's say the more keyword that you hit based on the job description that posts up, the higher the percentage you get. So this is the key how you want to actually get yourself be at the top rank. Yeah, sorry.
So use relevant keywords. But how what relevant keywords to use? One trick that you can do is look at the job description that you are trying to apply and use relevant keywords in that job description. Of course, I'm not asking you to, okay, never done that, then don't put it in, right? But if you have done that already, try to match it closer to the working experience that the job requirement is looking for. Assuming they are looking for, I need an accountant. I need an accountant to have 10 years of working experience in full set accounting. If you have done it before, that full set accounting word in your CV, so it will be shortlisted and it will be in the top, maybe 20 to 50 CV that the recruiter that will shortlist. Yeah. Use simple formatting, PDF. I think I've emphasized this 10,000 times already.
And most importantly, have to avoid using image format like JPEG because there's no way ATS can capture any. To ATS, if you're using like image format, that one is an empty CV because they cannot actually capture any word from the image itself. So make sure you don't change it to JPEG or any image format for your resume.
I think,
Before you proceed, I'm just wondering, when we apply to the advertisement for the job, submit application, so where does our CV go to? The ATS?
It will be deposited into an ATS system. Yeah, and then the recruiter will pull out of the ATS system. Yeah, then that's where they start calling you or dropping you an email. So it's a depository system.
So that's the first filtering.
Yeah,
Alright.
correct. Yeah.
Especially for like those big corporate, every day they receive a lot of job applicants, right? Job applications. So to actually ease the burden of the HR department, that's why most of the big MNC or most of the company right now is using ATS to actually help them to track like sort of like pre-screen the job seekers applications. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Besides PDF, what are the other simple formatting that you need to consider? Have you seen CV with 3 columns? You know, okay, I don't have an example right here. Assuming this is a CV, you have 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns. Sometimes it's because we want to fit the CV into a piece of paper, so 2 pages only, right? So I just try to fit it as much as possible. So this kind of formatting, it will be harder for the ATS system to be able to pull out information. Yeah. My recommendation, if you can, just don't use column. If you need to, use 2 columns max. Yeah.
And also table format. Yes, I can see some of the resume or they like to actually list down their past portfolio or maybe their projects in a table format, a very complicated format. Table format. So it's actually very hard for ATS to read, to capture the right. They can capture, maybe might not be accurate enough because there is a table format there.
Yeah. And use standard section. So what does this mean is, you know how a CV, you need to break up your education, your working experience. So if you use that, you can use line to break it up a little bit. and then you can actually title that working experience, education. That keeps the CV a bit more cleaner. It's more readable for a human being and also an ATS system to pick it up. Okay. Yes.
ATS system, the ATS is widely used by companies in Malaysia, given that it is not cheap to have an ATS system.
Yes.
Widely used.
I think even
Yes.
for HIREDLY, we use the ATS system. Yes. So there's a big there's a lot of brand in the market. There are some that's a global brand, there's some local brands. But most of the time company uses it right now.
Especially for MNC because back then when I was in headhunting industry, most of our clients have their very own ATS system, like what she shared, like Talio, like what I understand is like HSBC Bank is using Talio and Prudential is using Workday. So all the big brands, they are using ATS. Even like SMB also, they start using ATS. So yeah, widely used in Malaysia.
One of the reason why it is widely used is also because of PDPA Act, because we need to keep the personal data. And in order to show that you are keeping personal data in a more structured way, ATS system helps that depository thing. I mean, we can park it on Google Drive now, but you know that safety is not there. There's no better compliance ruling around it. Yeah. Okay.
And it's easier for future reference also, especially for the HR department. Okay. All right, so back to me. Common resume misconception. Thank you. Including irrelevant information. I'll explain more what is irrelevant information. One size fits all resume, and also spelling and grammar mistake. Okay, you guys are taking. Take your time. Okay, so what is irrelevant information? For example, when I go to universities and speak with all the fresh graduates, they tend to actually include information like awards that they get in primary school, singing competition. Do you think that is actually relevant to the future employer? Not really, unless you're going to apply for singing competition or audition, then that might be relevant, right? But that is irrelevant, or maybe they just have like part-time job in maybe retail part-time job like for a week. They also include that experience in the resume. So the resume becomes very, very how to say? Cluttered? Yes, correct. So yes, very cluttered. So basically, try to remove all this irrelevant experience and information in it. And also maybe like your hobbies. Yes, during interview session, if the interviewer try to understand you better, they will ask like, what's your hobby? Like for example, I like to ask this question like, who are you personally? How would your family members or friends describe you as a person? I will ask during interview, but I don't need that person to include like all this information in their resume. All right. And also one size fit all, like for example, just now we mentioned we talk a lot about, career objective have to be personalized so that it is not generic, not cliche, right? So there is no one size fit all resume. And the format also, there's no one size fit all because, for example, if today you are actually applying to a creative industry, for example, graphic designer, so your resume style should be more vibrant, more creative, include portfolio link, include some colors. But if let's say you're applying to a job like accountant, to a corporate, and you put a lot of colors, a lot of like animation in it, do you think it's appropriate? Maybe not so, right? So yeah, it depends on the job and the industry itself. So there's no one size fit all information, no one size fit all style for your resume. Okay, and this one use ChatGPT to help you to minimize your typo mistake and also grammar mistake. Okay, just now, one of you actually asked, should you be including profile photo in your resume?
You get a raise of 10, what do you think? Do you think it's okay to include? Do you include it in your current resume? Yeah.
Who thinks should include? Raise up your hand. Should include, okay.
Good 50%.
Good 50%. Okay, so my answer is actually, the rule of thumb is no. Yeah, no. But it depends because it is very subjective to the hiring manager and also the process of that company. Because I do know I have some client back then, it's a must for everyone to include their photo in the resume. But there's also a lot of company that prefer not to see the person's face on the resume. So it is very subjective, but a rule of thumb is no, it's not a must for you to include photo in your resume. But if you really, really want to,
why am I taking a break? Why I need to get into after my current interest, into after my photo. I really like the answer very detailed. So when it comes to the photograph, I kind of like, okay, I will choose when we meet for interview.
okay. I would like to understand. So the recruiter asks you at which phase of the hiring process is when you're already shortlisted
Before I apply the job.
before you apply a job. Okay,
Asian.
got it. Got it, got it. Okay. This one, again, depending on the needs, maybe like the client already preempt the recruiter, any resume that you're gonna present to us, I need this list of information. So there's a checklist for the recruiter. That's why the recruiter need to ask from the job seeker, like, oh, I need a passport size photo. I need like even, you know, the age, etc., and also the reason of leaving. So once you fulfill the checklist, then only they can actually present to the client, which is the employer. That could be the reason. Yeah, but the rule of thumb, you don't have to actually include a photo in your resume. But if you really feel like you want to include photo in your resume, always make sure your photo is professional enough, because I have seen a lot like weird photo in the resume, like maybe a selfie or taking a traveling picture with like some scenery behind, include in your resume that is not too appropriate. Correct. And also, through my career, I think I can remember until now, someone actually include like wedding picture in the resume. Yes. Maybe that's like his best picture and he's super proud of that. Yeah, but that's not so appropriate. Yeah. So whatever photo that you can actually put on LinkedIn or any job portal, it should be on your resume, but something professional and with clean background. Yeah, if you really want to include resume.
I'll just add one more thing. I feel sometimes profile picture or photo takes a lot of space. And because of that, your CV, you know, you have that white empty space and then one side you have the picture. You're not too sure how big you want the picture to be. Yeah, so for me, I find it a little bit, it doesn't serve a purpose at the first stage of screening. I have a lot of clients who ask for photo, but that is like the later stage when you're shortlisted for interview, because it's a part of their whole recruitment process, compliance and so on. Yeah, so first stage, not necessary.
Yes, and also make full use of your resume space. I mean, instead of a photo, maybe for better information to sell yourself. Okay, should you be including your referee contact in your resume? Who think you should include? Raise up your hand. Okay, good. Yes, the answer is no. Because why we don't really recommend people to actually include referee contact in the resume. First, of course, maybe you write the resume for some time, or maybe it's already in the HR database for some time. The referee contact might not be even relevant at that time already. Like for example, maybe fresh graduates, when they created this resume, they put like their lecturer when they do not even have any job experience. So if let's say the employer call to the lecturer, like the lecturer won't remember, oh, who is Nadil? Like 5 years ago in Monash University, which course? Like, yeah, so it will actually cause a lot of inconvenience to not only the referee, but also it's not going to be a very smooth process for the HR as well. So upon request and based on the job that you apply at that time, the relevancy, and see which referee actually provide a better reference check for you. Yeah, as a supporting, because I would say reference check is actually quite important to experienced people like us. Yeah. Okay, and should you rate your skill? Who think like for example, maybe you know, okay, for tech, maybe programming language like Java, .NET, do you think you should rate yourself like 3 out of 5, or maybe language Mandarin, Cantonese, 3 out of 5, 2 out of 5. Do you think you should rate? Who think you should rate? Raise up your hand.
Or maybe to illustrate for you guys, have you seen CIMB? They put like 3 out of 5 star. Or they use the the full bar. They will they
Yeah,
put
the bar.
the little round thing or put it in the middle. Yeah.
No, right? Okay, very good. At least, yes. Sorry.
But I have a question, because when we apply online, they even raise that as a question with radio skills, like
Yeah,
features or on
Computer skills.
Yeah.
Understood. So this is more of like case-to-case basis. So some of the company, maybe their processor require you to rate your skill set. Then of course you can rate. But in general, when you write a resume, you do not need to actually rate your skill set because this is actually very, very subjective. Why I should say so? For example, one of the candidate that I spoke with before I actually met her, her resume, English proficiency, she actually rate like 2 out of 5. To me, 2 out of 5, how would you imagine a 2 out of 5 for English? Someone who maybe barely speak a fluent English or can introduce herself well, right? But when I talk to this person, she speaks well, communicate well, articulate well. So I asked her, why you actually rate yourself like 2 out of 5? Because to me, 2 out of 5 is actually quite weak already. Then she said, oh, because I feel my mother tongue is not English, it's Mandarin. So I thought I should rate myself 2 out of 5. So you can see that it's very subjective because sometimes it's more of like confidence level. You think you're not there, but actually you're better than that, right? So let's not rate your skill until the interview will meet you in person and then you sell yourself. But by the time they will know your skill set already.
But in terms of language, if you want to rate it, you can then put native mother tongue. Then it's easier for it's easier to understand where is your language capability, basic, advanced, in that sense. If let's say you have taken a language paper, let's say you have taken a Japanese language paper, then put that qualification of that language paper
Yes.
taken. Yeah, then it's easier to quantify because a 3-star, your 3-star and my 3-star might be a bit of a different definition, and then I may not shortlist you in that sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
you might miss the opportunity because of that rating. 2 out of 5, yeah.
Yes. So do you still need to have the skills?
For sure, you need a skill session to actually, because whatever requirement that all the employer put in their job description, right? You will actually need to see whether you fit any of the requirement, meet any of the requirement or not. For example, you know some accounting system, and then it's actually one of the requirement. Then you should include in your skill like, oh, I know this accounting system, SAP. Then that's how the employer know whether you know you are actually relevant to the job that you apply to or not. Yeah.
Would it overlap with what you have put in your experience?
Okay, so I'll say the skill is in general because your experience, right? Maybe all the skills is actually accumulated from throughout your career. Okay, maybe SAP is not based on your latest job, right? Job experience. It's more of like maybe your first job, your second job, you learn SAP before. So you actually know SAP, but let's say you are not actually including in the skill session and your latest 2 job actually not using SAP, the employer might not know you actually know SAP. Make sense? Does it make sense to you?
It's like we're trying to have that skill section just to give like a sense of what you have
Yes.
for your career.
Correct. And if let's say you have super a lot of skill set, just include those relevant to the job that you apply. Yeah.
So if I have a question, you did mention we have to do our skills rating in the resume. At the same time, when we apply, it's also popped up in the areas of employee. So in that sense, right, we still rating ourselves. So to be a safe, how we should rate it there.
Okay, so trying to understand your question. So basically, we mentioned not to rate our skill set, but actually for the shortlisting percentage, you are being rated. Is that what you meant?
The system actually asks us to put the details there.
Okay. So for this case, right, try not to rate yourself too low. Yeah, because for sure, if your self-assessment is low, I don't think any of the employer will have the confidence. Of course, try not to fake it also, just maybe average. If you think it's an average, then to be safe, average or beyond average. Yeah, but do not rate yourself in the resume. And if you include the skill set, the relevant skill set in the skill section, right, it will actually increase your relevancy of the match already itself. Yeah. Okay, beginner, when you should put beginner, for example, maybe don't mind me, like Malay, some of them maybe actually go to elementary school and learn Mandarin, and they can actually speak basic Mandarin. Then you should actually put beginner for that. Yeah, that's when. Yeah, that should be okay. Then at least they know, oh, okay, this person can speak extra language and beginner for Mandarin. Yeah. But English, because English and Bahasa is so important in the corporate, right? Never put beginner for English lah. Yeah, and Bahasa.
Yeah,
if those that advanced that you know it should be as the top priority, it depends on the job that you're applying to. Like if the job requires you to speak Mandarin, then your Mandarin is beginner, then I'm not too sure how is that beneficial to the application itself. Yeah. So yeah, we are running short a little bit of time because we actually have a panelist session for you guys. We're trying to run through everything. If we have some time later on, or maybe like during the lunch session, maybe we can address some of your questions again. Yeah, because there's also a few questions online that we haven't managed to address. Okay, cool. Yeah, because actually there's an important part that we wanted to show you later on.
Yes, there's also part 2 and 3, and then before the paneling. Yes. So we are quite behind time. Okay, so include your IC number or full address. I mean, for safety purpose, no, yeah. So do not include until if let's say you're shortlisted for hire, then only you provide that with the full details. All right, moving on. Yeah, here's some of the example. It's good to actually put your country code because a lot of multinational company, their HR might not even be in, Malaysia. So for the convenience of them, you just put like country dial code in your phone number, and also create a job searching purpose kind of email address, because if you use your personal email address, like sometimes you sort of like subscribe to a lot of newsletter like Zalora, Love Bonito, and then you might miss out like some of the important interview invitation, right? And also sometimes the email address that you create maybe not that professional, like for example, Joselyn love ice cream @gmail.com. It doesn't sound very professional for a job searching purpose. Okay. And hyperlink, if you have any, I believe you all have LinkedIn account. So hyperlink, and also general current location, for example, Subang Jaya, Petaling Jaya is good enough already. At least they know where you're actually positioned at. All right. So I will not recap. I think all good, right? We can just move on to the next one. Job interview tips. So here is what we are going to cover. Okay, why is interview important to you? So just now we talked about resume, so important, right? So interview is even more important because that's when they really assess your soft skill and assess you in a deeper level, like to understand whether you are able to fit into the culture or not, your relevancy, because resume is more of like your hard skill, your experience, how you can actually contribute to the role. But interview is more of like, matching of expectation, whether your expectation and the employer expectation can be matched or not, and whether you're able to fit into the workplace culture or not. Okay, so yes, pre-interview, what you need to do, I believe most of you already know, research about the company, very important, because a lot of time they'll ask, what draws you the interest to actually apply to this company, because there's so many employers out there, right? So you should at least have a basic understanding of the company background, and also review the job description. Why is it so important? Like it helps you to actually write something, include something relevant in your career objective for the resume, and also during the interview process, if you understand the job description well, you will actually have more confidence to sell yourself to the employer as well, and also prepare your response. So prepare your response is more of like those like general questions. Interview always have that few favorite questions to ask. Like for me, I like to ask what's your strength and weaknesses. So this is more like to understand, to have self-awareness. If a person do not even understand their own strength and weakness is actually quite a red flag to employer as well. So to note this, always like go Google or go ChatGPT, ask what are the general interview questions, and then try to think what would be your response. Yeah, not memorize, but just be prepared for the response. Okay, so what you can do research about the company. So company website, social media, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Google review, newsletter, and recent maybe feature write-ups. Yeah. But for Google review or Glassdoor, I would say I would like to highlight take it with a pinch of salt because most of the time people drop a review is when they are very unhappy. Hardly when people happy they say, oh, this restaurant is awesome, no, right? But it's only when they are so angry. Yeah, then only they drop a review. So take it with a pinch of salt. You can still go for the interview, assess because you trust your own instinct and trust your own judgment, right? So you can see the environment, meet the interviewer to understand further, see it in your own eye. Yeah. Okay, anyone taking a picture of this? Okay. Oh, sorry. No worries, take your time.
Well, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so here's the example, like do research on like LinkedIn company, LinkedIn profile, and who are the people actually working in the company now, and also like Google review. And I'll come back to you later, so sorry. And research about the background, like the vision, mission, and also what sort of core value that they have, the social media accounts. Okay, review the job description. So to determine the necessary skills that which you can also provide and contribute to the role. And tailor your application, which just now I mentioned is for your career objective. And also know what to ask because it's a red flag to employers, honestly speaking, like towards the end, employer will actually like to ask, do you have any questions for me? If you say, no, oh good, no question. Actually to employer and hiring manager is a red flag because you never really like think through what are the things that you're curious about the job and the company. So know what to ask, prepare some interview questions, for the hiring manager. You okay? Oh, good.
Talking about the especially about the company, but it's like when they engineer
Okay. It's already 2040 now. If a company do not have a company website, if to me it's my own opinion, I think it's a bit skeptical. But if let's say it's really new, you are joining as a pioneer team, then understandable, maybe they need some time to set up the company website. But at least online presence should be there if the official website is not out yet. Yeah, it is from.
My recommendation, if you come across new company that's trying to set up, and if you can't find any information about them online, speak to the recruiter, get information from the recruiter. Because you shouldn't be penalized if you cannot find the information, right? So getting information from the recruiter will help you in your interview preparation. Usually they would have some sort of information to provide it to you. Yeah, if it's not the local chapter in Malaysia, they may have an establishment somewhere outside of Malaysia that you can refer to. Yeah, so it's very important to ask information from the recruiter.
on the job
Anonymous, sometimes on job street, they don't show any information.
Anonymous. Usually those are headhunters.
Yeah, those are
Headhunters. Yeah, but no. So if you are very keen with the role and it's anonymous, apply to it. If you get a call, speak to your headhunters, get the information, ask as much as possible. Because you cannot go into interview
without knowing anything. Yeah.
Because it's quite especially when you apply for more managerial department, they go on a private search. They may not even tell you what particular position is this. So you need to probably gain that information from the recruiter. Usually they will share it to you.
Yeah, but if let's say it's a company already set up for more than 1-2 years, still do not have any online presence, then maybe you might want to find out more. Yeah, so I'll move on to the next one. Prepare your responses. So like common interview question, tell me about yourself. How would your friends and family usually describe you? What's your strength and weaknesses? All this you can really think how you are going to prepare your response in short, okay? Practice your response because I know sometimes if you're not familiar or sometimes some question caught you off guard, your confidence level will just drop immediately, right? So try to practice in front of the mirror, especially if you are already away from the workforce for some time. I'm sure you all will sort of like have lower confidence sometimes. I get it because, you know, sometimes when I speak, I have low confidence. Also, I just need to practice and be prepared for like some of the questions. All right. And prepare example, because if let's say you give a very general answer without any example based on your experience, right, it's gonna be very vague also. So for example, maybe they will ask question like, what challenges that you met in life before that you actually managed to overcome it, and what sort of lesson you learned from the experience? Yeah, so if you are able to give a very strong, solid experience, right, it actually add up to a lot of brownie points. Sorry.
Joselyn, can I add on?
Yeah, sure. You want a mic? Come. What's your name?
Sasha.
Sasha. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, this is like very spontaneous, but I have been coming to a situation whereby big companies, the first thing they ask you is that what is your salary expectation, all those things, right? But salary is quite PNC that we don't have to share, or do we do that? That's one thing.
Okay.
Second thing is the strength and weaknesses, whereby last year I actually lost my daughter. She passed away
So sorry to hear
after
about that.
having had RSV virus. But to be able to come back to work and overcome all this situation, it's really something really solid, you know. But I'm quite disappointed because with all the strengths that I have portrayed and whatsoever, but after that it became very silent, and it's like, you know, oh, this is a situation whereby I think people need to be what do you call that? You need a space, you need time off from work and all that. But I think it's very subjective because time has passed by and I have managed to come back to be able to stand, you know, where you are today. It's already something big. But why is it that it looks like people want it to be something that is very discreet, you know, don't share it openly. Yeah. I
Got
feel
it.
like can you please help me with this?
Thank you so much. Okay, for first questions, if let's say you're not comfortable to disclose your sort of like current salary or maybe your last round salary, especially beginning of the process, right? You can just share like your expected salary, because most of the time when hiring manager recruiters, they ask about your current salary, is more like to gauge what will be your expected salary, because there's always budget for hiring for each role, right? So if let's say you don't want to share your current salary or last round salary, feel free to share a range of your expected salary and say you will disclose more when you know, when towards the end of the hiring process, when you get the offer, you don't mind to share a payslip or whatnot, right? Okay. And for your second questions, I'm so sorry to hear that. And actually, the judgment is very subjective to the employer and to the person who listened to your sharings. So if that person do not see it as a strength, you don't want to work with that person also, right? Yeah, because I know it's not easy to overcome your loss and all, and this already show like all kind of strength that you have. But yeah, if let's say to be safe, you can also share, like apart from personal one, maybe you can share a little bit of related to like career related kind of challenges on top of your personal one. But to be precise, I think what you share with them is not wrong. Yeah.
Maybe I can share a little bit more. Thanks for sharing your personal story. I'm pretty sure all of us here took a career break for a reason, and it's your own personal journey. Whenever you are in an interview, and if let's say, you know, the interviewer asks you your reason, my recommendation is you can share that reason, but don't go down the rabbit hole of that reason itself. Share that, okay, you took career break for your daughter, that's it. But share a little bit more what you want, why you are coming back to work, what do you want to do in your career, how can you contribute back to the company itself. Because if you go and dwell down your story, right, it will be a very, very negative connotation to the employer. And sometimes, yeah, the bias is there, and it's also why they are so concerned, right? They are a bit worried that maybe you are not ready to come back to work. They may have that concern. If you go down the rabbit hole, then it's very negative. But instead, I encourage you to focus a little bit more. What do you want to achieve in your career? Yeah, that's very, very important. I think there was also one question online, whereby I think this lady, took career break to take care of the mother-in-law who had cancer. So similar, I think it's very important to share a little bit more your career objective. Don't need to spend so much time on the personal story. Yes.
Yeah, so just to answer, I mean, you can share the reason why you took a career break and all, just to have the clarity, but the detail, you can just move on to more of like your intention, what you want to achieve next, okay? So, sorry.
I think we'll circle back. I think what we can do later on, we can make some time. If you have any more questions, we can try to address it. Because we have our panelists still waiting already, so we try not to run over time. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, okay. So, what will the interviewer employer be curious about, especially you want to return to the workforce? Yeah, so skill currency, whether the skill that you have like 10 years ago will still be relevant to the current market or not, okay? The skill currency, experience relevancy, your motivation to get back to work. You need to have the clarity on that. Your motivation have to be clear and also be reasonable, and employment gap explanation, support needs, and integration into the team. So just now, one of the example that I show for the career objective, I mentioned that how you can actually, mix into the dynamic team and environment. So to assure them, the integration into the current team is not a problem for you all. Okay, so I will just move on, yeah. Okay, so some of the questions are likely you will be receiving when you go for interview, especially after a long career break. Can you explain the reason of your career break? So all this, you have your own response and answer. You go back and think, be prepared for this kind of questions. The key is clarity. You know what you want, self-awareness. There's no right or wrong answer or right or wrong reason of career break. I always remember that. Okay. Behind can see. Okay, I will move on, yeah. Okay, so just now it's more like pre-interview. Now it's during the interview. So it's crucial time to sell yourself. So just now I mentioned, resume is more of like to assess your hard skill, your experience, right? So during interview, it's more of like in person to know your soft skill and cultural fit, right? So critical thinking, decision-making process, your confidence and energy. Honestly speaking, I don't think there's any employer out there would like to actually hire someone with maybe very low energy. So even if you are introverted or you at that time you feel very low confidence, your posture and all, fake it until you make it. So your energy has to be there because they are recruiting the talent, new blood into the team, right? To be able to contribute to the team. So the energy has to be there, be confident. So how you can be more confident, practice, all right? Commonly asked questions. So I break it down, what are they actually assessing based on the questions? Self-awareness, can you tell me about yourself? What are your strengths and weaknesses? So like, can you tell me about yourself? Better don't answer like, everything is already stated on resume or what you want me to tell you, because I really get that a lot. Everything is already on resume. Why you still want me to introduce myself? Yeah, so let's not do that. And also, how would your colleague and previous manager describe you? Interest, like why do you want to work for this company? That's why you need to study about the background, right? And also the job itself, your adaptability, how you handle stress and pressure, and critical thinking. More of like how you actually resolve or maybe share about one of your proudest achievement in throughout your career. Yeah. Okay, so all good. Moving on, or someone.
Excuse me, can you just move back the slide to prepare responses because I
Can.
Actually, if one, maybe we can share the slide to Telecom later, and then Telecom can distribute to all of you. Yeah.
I think we will actually convert into a PDF file and then we share to Telecom so that you guys can keep it also. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay, all right. So tips to answer interview questions. So most of the interview questions are open-ended and situational questions to actually assess your thought process. Yeah. So how can you answer situational question better? We use this STAR method. So STAR, the S stand for situation. So you would like to introduce the situation and scene to the interviewer first. And then next you move on to task. Describe what you actually are being assigned to, what you need to achieve that time. So what sort of action you have taken? The next one, the A. Yeah, share like how you actually manage the whole situation, what action, what solution you provided. And of course, lastly, it's always about the result, right? So what is the outcome of that scenario itself? Okay, so provide some examples. So use this STAR method is quite safe to answer any of the situational question or open-ended questions. All right, so it helps you to have a better framework for your thought process. Alrighty, okay, what not to do in an interview? Don't give one word answer. Yeah, it doesn't show that you have the strong interest for the job, or you might not even be prepared for the interview. Because sometimes when job seekers or interviewee, they give me very short answer, one word answer in almost every interview question, I feel, how can I work with this person in the future? If let's say this person is gonna join my team, is this going to be our norm already? Like every day I ask him or her a question, then I will just get yes or no, that's it. Full stop. Yeah, okay. And don't speak negatively about your past employer. I know sometimes you might have some bad experience with your previous employers, but try to make it more neutral and more forward thinking, like what you learned from that experience and how you want to manage that in the future. Okay, and don't interrupt the interviewer during the session. Okay, this is a big no. Yeah, allow the interviewer to finish the question, because sometimes you are so into answering the question. Always remember, we actually listen to understand, not listen to answer. Okay, so you understand the question, it helps you to provide a better answer as well. Okay, don't be too casual, like how you see it and the way you phrase your answers. Okay. Yeah, and remember to silence your phone during interview. Okay, tips for interview. Always remember, interview to me is like an interview of interchange of views. Yeah, it's not a one-way street, it's a two-way street. So always like have any thoughts or any opinions, feel free to share to the interviewer as well. Okay, that's how you know whether you are suitable for the company and the company is suitable for you. Okay, and also a better understanding and also be important factor in making decision. So through the session, it helps you to understand whether that is the workplace you want to be at or not. Yeah. Okay. Question you can ask. Always remember, if employer interviewer asks you, do you have any question? What should you answer? Yes, yeah. So ask some question, relevant question. Okay. All good. Body language, I think all this you already know, like experience. Just be confident, your energy, your posture, maintain eye contact and smile. Of course, you don't have to smile 24/7. It's going to be very weird. But yeah, remember to smile when you express yourself and give some expression. Don't be monotone. Yeah. Okay. Eye contact is very important because I actually experienced like interviewee, the whole interview session, like just looking down. Yeah. So I find it a bit hard to communicate when the person is not looking at me. So from time to time, especially if let's say there's more than one interviewer, make sure you have eye contact with everyone, not just focus on one person. Yeah.
I think also to be mindful, especially when you take virtual interview online, you always look at the screen. Actually, you're supposed to look at the camera for eye contact. You don't need to constantly look at the camera, but try to be mindful of that. Yeah.
Yes, sorry, you have a question?
Previous slide.
Oh, okay, sure. No worries.
We will share the slides to you, yeah. Don't worry. Just give us a day, we'll try to turn it around and Zetty, make sure you remember to stand. Yes.
Okay. All right. So dress to impress lah. So formal. Even though if let's say the company having like casual dress code, you have to remember interview is a very formal occasion. Regardless what dress code they have in the company, always dress to impress, dress formally for your interview session. Okay? Fit well, neutral color, business wear. Keep it simple and neat, I would say. All right, so this is post in that's typo. So post interview, after the interview. So basically, send a thank you note after the interview session. You don't have to immediately ask for the interview result or feedback because sometimes they will take some time. They still have some other ongoing candidates in the pipeline, right? But at least to to show that you are still very keen after the interview session, drop a thank you note. Thank you so much for your time today. I had a pleasant session with the interviewer and what you're looking for, and you are still pretty keen to the job that you apply to. So just a simple thank you note to show that you're still keen for the job after the session. All right. We will share you later the slide. Okay. Yes, part 3. Adeline.
One question.
Yes,
Is
sure.
it common for companies here to use psychometric testing?
Not really. I would say it depends. Like for us, we don't really, for HIREDLY, we don't usually use like psychometry, but it's more of like culture interview. We have a culture committee, you can see out there, culture committee. So our final interview is actually for the culture committee to ask like culturally questions to assess whether this person will be able to fit into our workplace. Correct. Right. So it's not a common thing, but there are some employers that are using that.
Actually, you can get some free tests to just like experience what are the questions that's being asked. So you can actually attempt that before you attempt the real test itself. Yeah,
I'm aware that like for very senior management positions, they will ask them to do a psychometric test.
Yeah.
It's because I think they want to make sure the culture fits in the management team itself. Yeah. So if you want, you can just get some free tests online.
Yeah. To prepare yourself.
Okay, all right. I have about 30 minutes to run through this slide. Okay. Actually, this is probably to some of you guys maybe a bit elementary, but we decided to cover this portion because when we look at the attendee view, attendee background, we have anyone from like about 0 years of experience up to like 20 years. So we thought it's good to also share this a little bit more with you guys because this is an age we live, breathe, eat our phone, right? Every day we wake up, we look at our phone. Before we sleep, we will look at our phone. All right. So I think having a digital presence is very, very important, especially for job seeker. Okay. So maybe just a question to ask the floor. If a recruiter would want to check you out online, where do they go?
LinkedIn.
Yes, correct. Wow, very good. Can I get a show of hands? How many of you have your LinkedIn presence already?
Wow.
Okay lah, good, not bad, right?
Almost everyone.
Are you who is quite active on LinkedIn? Like you do posting, you apply jobs online. So now you need to get yourself active on LinkedIn. It's very important because these days and age, right? When a recruiter look at the candidate resume, the first thing that they will look is they will try to see if you have a LinkedIn hyperlink. They will click and try to look at your presence online. Yeah. It's not necessary that it's wrong that you don't have a LinkedIn presence, but it makes it easier for the recruiter to reference to you. Yeah, because there's a lot of information that a person can actually put on the LinkedIn profile. Yeah. So I'll run through the next few slides showing you guys how to set up a LinkedIn account, what you should consider putting in. I'm not trying to sell LinkedIn, but every day when I clock into work, the first thing that I will open, the second thing I will open, the first thing is my email, second thing I'll open is actually my LinkedIn, and I will keep it on until before I sleep. Usually I try to stop my candidate before I sleep. That's what I do during my pastime. Right. Yeah, but so it's very important to have that presence. Yeah. So, I think I shared with you the importance already, right? So having a professional LinkedIn account would help you in creating the online presence. But staying engaged, staying active will also help to boost the visibility of yourself online. So be mindful of that. I'll share you a little bit more of how much posts that you should post daily basis. So as of January 2024, there's about close to 8 million user in Malaysia that's LinkedIn itself. So this is an active number that is pulled out from this website. It's only 23% of the entire population, but this is where most of the workforce is at this point of time, right? And if you can see, the most active one is at the age of 25 to 54. Yeah, right? Okay, so what is the ultimate profile blueprint? What you should put on LinkedIn that's important for recruiters to be able to find you, because ultimately LinkedIn, they work on algorithm also. It's a lot of the keywords. When they do certain search, some of this information must be present. Otherwise, you won't be resulted in their search itself. So is your profile like that now? Yes? How many is there? Can I? Oh, okay. Even, okay, don't need panel for 4, but have you completed this part? Okay. So if you have completed this part, right, you will have 31 more profile wheels, 9 more connection requests, and 36 more messages that you will receive. So picture, I think it's quite important to portray a more professional one. Yeah, sometimes, you know, we have selfie, we want to post our travel picture, but I recommend to put a more professional one because first matters quite a lot. Yeah. Headline. Okay, so this is a little bit different for me. I'm not looking out for job at this point in time, but I'm seeking for a job seeker to find me. So I would then create a headline that will attract job seeker to be in touch with me. So for you guys, if you guys are looking for a job, so let's say for herself, she's looking for a HR position, but prior to that, you are an engineer, you work in manufacturing, you might want to create a headline that is that helps you to seek for the HR job a little bit more. Yeah. Location, I think this is what Joselyn mentioned as a CV, right? So it's also very important to specify location that you are located in. So let's say you are located outside of KL, let's say Pahang, Penang. It's good to specify that a little bit more, then it's easier for the recruiter to be able to find you. Yeah. Profile banner, I think it's actually a very new thing, probably last few years. But if you have a certain branding, go ahead and put it out there. Nothing too colorful, nothing too cluttered, something simple to reflect a little bit more of your branding. And contact information. Do you know that you can actually put your contact information, but the contact information can only be reviewed to the recruiters? Yeah, so there is some privacy you can control. So if you're not comfortable in putting your phone number, put an email. At least the recruiter can reach out to you directly. Yeah. Do you know there's a feature column in your LinkedIn account? So you can actually feature things that you write, or maybe if in the past you have attended let's say a building event with your previous company, you wanted to show that you work in this company before, you were quite active, you want to show that outgoing personality, go ahead and feature it on this column. So it says a little bit more about yourself, because if you can do posts, but your posts will usually be pushed down. When someone visit your profile on LinkedIn, they won't be able to see the post anymore. So feature brings up and highlight the post of whatever you have done in the past, whatever you want to feature. Go ahead and use media. Photos, videos are very friendly right now on LinkedIn. And you can actually, you know how you write your career objective and summary, you can actually put it here. And you can actually highlight top skills. Yeah, so that's how recruiter would be able to find. If let's say they are looking for a recruiter, I hope they can find me here with all the skills that I've listed down. Yeah, so craft it closer to what you are trying to apply for and your skill set. Okay. All right.
So, and I think it's very smart for Adeline also include, you know, email address in the about me section, because even though you already include in your contact info, it's good to re-emphasize your contact info, your email address.
It's because I want the job seeker to find me and email me.
Yeah.
So that's convenient.
It's not looking out.
Not yet. Yeah. Yeah. So the more information you put, the easier for someone to be able to find you. Yeah. Working experience, be precise. Use bullet points, but be precise, explain a little bit more, especially when you have achievement, put it into your working experience. Because beyond your job description, the recruiter also want to look at the achievement that you have done, right? Because there's so many recruitment managers out there, but I want to hire an outstanding recruitment manager. So what would be outstanding in my field? That would be driving revenue top line for a team itself as a headhunter. So you also want to consider highlighting it in the career that's relevant to you. And if you can see, right, I think I mentioned just now, 65% would want to look for relevant working experience. A lot of LinkedIn members, 68% of them would use LinkedIn to reconnect with their previous colleague, previous associate. Yeah, and if let's say you have completed all this and listed down specific working experience, your profile will be viewed 29 times more. And this is not something that I created. I actually tried to do a bit of research before this session. Yeah. Okay. Education. Actually, education is very important. It's interesting. It's not necessary lah, right? Because some of you guys maybe have not completed a high school or a degree, but it's interesting if you are able to put it here, because you may have alumni, you may have past friends in your school who is working in other companies, and sometimes you want to make that connection. You may not know this further lah. It's a hi-bye friend, but if you want to get that connection, you can say, hey, you know, Joselyn, we used to go to school together, and you can actually try to get a referral. That makes it easier to reconnect with people. Yeah. And recommendation. Actually, I don't really use it often, but you kind of think of it now. It's a mini reference chat library. Instead of someone calling up your referee, get a reference chat, they can actually refer to this and understand, oh, Joanne has worked with Adeline before, and how was the experience? And for a lot of you guys have left the workforce for some time, right? Getting recommendation, that is actually very useful to share a little bit more about you as a person. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Languages. If you guys have specific language, do list it down, because in Malaysia itself right now, I think there's a lot of roles that require certain other languages also. And certification license. If you guys are maybe a certified engineer in certain area, accountant, HR, put it down there. That will help to boost the employability a little bit. Yeah. So, like I mentioned, right, LinkedIn works on algorithm, and how the algorithm sticks for 4 criteria, which is completeness of profile. So if you are able to do this checklist, it will then push your CV up to on top of a search list itself. Connection in common. I think a lot of you guys might think that as a recruiter, we would have access to everyone. Actually, not so much. The algorithm works on connection basis. There is a first layer, second layer, and third layer connection. So the more people you are connected, the easier for the recruiter to be able to search you. Yeah. Connection by degree, and also common groups. There's a lot of common groups in LinkedIn. Consider joining them, because if you join them, it's easier for you to connect to that particular person of the same interest. And do you know that you can actually generate a PDF profile on LinkedIn also? So if you don't have a physical profile right now, and if you have a very complete LinkedIn profile, you can actually generate a PDF version, and that version is quite acceptable to a lot of recruiters. But make sure it's complete lah. You don't just put, oh, recruitment manager, and then just one job description. Then it's not so, it's a little bit hard to gauge where you are. If it's complete, you can actually generate a PDF version.
Yeah, to add on to this point, serve as alternative resume for LinkedIn, make sure there's alignment between your resume and also a LinkedIn profile, because employer a lot of times after they read your resume, they will go to your LinkedIn profile and see, especially some of the past employer that you choose not to include in your resume, but it's actually on your LinkedIn profile, then they will actually start questioning, oh, how come there is like misalignment of the LinkedIn profile and also the resume that you actually submitted. So be aware of that. All right.
Okay. All right. I think something that you guys know, but I just wanted to share, because actually I don't know one of it. Yeah. Do you know that you can message someone without being connected? So right now, if you want to message the other person, you need to then connect, and then there's a limitation of a message that you can write to that particular person. But if you are in the same common group with the other person, you can actually just send a message without being connected. Now, because why I wanted to show this is because sometimes we want to be connected to this person, right? But if let's say I click connect and the connection only happens a week later, then you need to wait quite long for your message to go across, right? Yeah, so you can consider this. I can show you guys later in person if you guys are interested to know. You can even download a list of your connection. Maybe, you know, in the past 1 year, you have been connecting to a lot of recruiters and you want to get in touch with this recruiter. So if you try messaging them again, you try messaging them already, you still can't get a connection, you can actually download and you can actually email them directly. Because a lot of times, all these recruiters may actually list the email in their contact list itself. Yeah. Open status. Are all of you with open status at this point of time? Actually, this is one of the criteria that a recruiter will use to shortlist candidate. Because open status would then mean the candidate is very active in looking up. And usually recruiter would call this as priority lah. Yeah. And last but not least, when you do job search, you can actually save the job tabs. You can revisit it later. And also it will then prompt similar jobs of the interested jobs that you're looking for. Okay. All right.
Okay,
You
there
want
is one more part where you can actually customize a button on LinkedIn. I saw like there is a selection of career gaps, so you can actually choose that and then you add on more information to your career gap as well for your LinkedIn profile.
Yes. Okay, optimizing your LinkedIn. Okay. So what is optimizing? Because like I mentioned, right, LinkedIn works on the search basis. So a lot of time, the keyword search that you use, the things that you write, it will then impact the search result, right? So then you need to optimize it to make sure it's really searchable. And a few areas that you can consider doing is, you can customize your LinkedIn
URL.
address, URL. Do you know that? If you sign up for an account, naturally you will get maybe Adeline Wong with some numbers behind. Sometimes it's very hard for someone to search you because there's so many Adeline Wong. So you can actually customize it, and then you can use this thing to put into your CV. It's easier for the recruiter to find you. That's number one, right? A few things is LinkedIn search your headline. If you are looking for a HR, I think for you a bit different because you were an engineer, you want to switch to HR, right? But let's say you are a HR manager and you're trying to look for a job in HR, try to LinkedIn search what are your other peers' title is, because it makes it a little bit more searchable. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes you add on, yeah, some company maybe they have like very own internal reference for the position title, give like very fancy position title, which like other people might not understand what you're actually doing right now. So you might want to add on a more general title as well.
I've come across one, I think this lady's in Wong. It's called People Smile Officer. Something like People and Smile Officer, something like that. Like, oh, what do you do? Or it's actually People and Culture. But they name it a little bit different. So it's a little bit hard to like relate. Yeah. Job description. Because we wanted you to have that search optimization, right? So also consider looking at first direct and secondary keywords. What are the other secondary keywords that's a bit more relevant to the area and the job description that you are doing? Yeah, right. You can actually set visibility also. Sometimes because some of us in the past, we want to make it more private. We don't want to make it searchable. If you are active job seeker, I encourage you to click on Connexion. The more you connect, the more you are connected, the wider search that you are able to get. And I think contact info I shared to you just now already. Yeah. So if you activate all this, that will make you a little more searchable. But last but not least, I wanted to share this a little bit more. By sharing more content, you have more outreach. Yeah. So it shows that you are a bit more active. If let's say you run certain events, feel free to share it. It shows you that you're getting active, you are very keen in coming back to job force. If you're taking certain licenses or certification, or you are learning certain skills, feel free to share it. Don't be shy, because it shows that you are really trying to get back into the workforce. And this is very interesting. When you post on LinkedIn, this is the prime time for you to post. Anytime from Tuesday to Thursday, 8 to 9, 4 to 6. Why not weekend? Because sometimes weekend we are so busy with Instagram, TikTok. You won't spend time on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is usually during working hours, maybe 4 to 6. As a recruiter, they will be very active. For hiring managers, sometimes they may search. They may use LinkedIn to read updated news, updated happenings in the industry they are in before they start their work. So how to capture their attention is key during this time. Yes. Okay.
Maybe
And
to add on a later, if you don't know where to start, especially you have not been active, like to post anything on LinkedIn, to start, maybe sometimes you see some very interesting posts or you think it's a good read, then you just repost with some thoughts, like, or your view on that particular, post to start off, like with your confidence, and eventually you can share with your own content as well. The key is to make yourself to have more visibility.
yeah. And last but not least, LinkedIn app. LinkedIn has an app. I hope you guys have it on your phone itself. Why I encourage you to do it is because it's a quicker way to respond, especially if you want to speak to a hiring manager or recruiter message you, right? you can actually reply in the app itself instead of logging into your laptop, because we are always on the go, right? Yes. Okay, I think this is my last slide of the day. Do we have some time? Oh, okay. Okay, maybe we take one question from the floor. Anna, okay, yes. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Hello. Hi, Amalia.
Hi, Amalia.
I'm actually looking for a career change from engineering to analytics. So my question is, regarding your experience, since usually the HR will lot of rating as a minute, right?
Sorry?
The HR will check our resume in less than 1 minute, right?
Yeah, in general, like glance through, yes.
So my question is, for someone looking for career change, I want to emphasize my skills related to the analytics in their resume. So, in your opinion, which should I put my skills? Is it on the first page after the career objective or the last page on the second page?
I will actually recommend, that's all for your question. Thank you so much for your question. I will actually recommend page 1, but you can already input some of the keyword in your career objective already. So as they read through, right, your latest employment history, and then you actually have the skill section on the left, then you can include all the relevant skill set in it. Yeah, especially just now you mentioned data analytics, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we have some more question online, but we will address it later on. Yeah, because we wanted to give you guys a toilet break before the panelist session. Okay, we can circle back to you later. Okay. Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, that's all.
All right, thank you.
So we'll take a quick 5 minutes toilet break. Toilet is that side. Yeah, then we'll resume back in 12:50. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Water break as well.
Just now when you mentioned about the features.
It's not filtered. So your forensic tools, that is lit.
Okay, thank you everyone for sitting around for the whole session. So right now let's go through the sharing session. So I believe many of you actually have shared some questions prior during the registration. So we'll have to address some questions here, and maybe if you all have any questions on career re-entry, discrimination, or anything like that, you can just ask our panel speakers. So right now, let me just introduce them to you. So we have first, Mrs. Jing Ying. So Mrs. Jing Ying is basically the VP of Finance in HIREDLY itself. She has taken a career break for 4 years before returning to, 4 years, correct? Yeah, 4 years before returning to workforce. And next we have Mrs. Prema, who has been in the workforce close to, I would say, 29 years to 30 years.
Oh, she's so kind. Actually, I'm 66 years old and I've been working for more than 40 years.
It's 40 years.
4 years actually.
So for those who are around the age, I feel like some of you are kind of shy also to come and ask any questions. You can actually address few questions to her as well. And then we have Mrs. Ping Yeng, who took a career break of 13 years and just recently joined back to the work. So definitely they will have good inputs on re-entry back to the workforce as well. So maybe all of you can just have a seat, and then before we open the questions to the floor, I believe there are a few questions that you all have already asked prior to this section. So maybe we can address few of it first before we open the questions to the floor. Is that okay? Right. Okay, let me just go to the first question. Okay, so the first question that actually we had here during the registration was how do you tackle questions about such a long career break? So maybe any one of you can just take the question first.
Before we start, can you all hear me?
Okay, before we start, let me tell you, for those of you who have taken a career break, long or short, those of you who are much older and want to come back to work again, you are the bravest set of people out of many candidates out there. So give yourselves a hand, okay? It's really good of you to want to come back to whatever your reasons are. Whatever your reasons are for wanting to come back to work, the fact that you're doing it is already the first step towards the right direction. And eventually, even if they don't see it the first time, I guarantee you, whoever takes you in will find that out about you over time. So don't lose heart. Yeah? Thank you.
I think among the three of us, my service is not the longest. I took 4 years. So it could be been as short or long. So I think it depends on the employer and the industry that you're going to apply on. So I guess, how to tackle the questions, like to answer why the long service. I think, importantly is to be honest and to be having the integrity to tell the employers. So like, what is the real reason that you need to take a career break?
Yeah, and also during the career break, what have we done during the break? I mean, other than pursuing what we wanted to do during the break, anything else that we have done to keep our skills updated, to keep our learning in line, to make sure that we don't fall behind on the industry or any potential future employment that we want to join. So I guess this is the main guidance on how to answer the questions. Thank you.
Hello. Here. Okay. So when I went for my interviews, I was always transparent. Like this, because I think that okay, sorry about this. So I was always very proud of the reason behind. Better? Yeah. So yeah, the first thing that I always did when I went for interviews was to always be very transparent, very honest, because that will always come true. And I was always very proud of the reason behind it, which I'm sure all of you are. So I will always tell them my story, which is take care of my two. At the time, it was just one kid. Then I would always talk about how even though that long, it's 13 years, yeah, it's a very long time. So I always talk about how, given that those years, I may not have gained the right skills and experiences that's related to the role that I was going for. But in those years, what I've gained is actually the personal growth that I've had during those years with the kids. Parenting may seem like a very simple thing, but it enabled me to see things in very different perspectives. And so that is something that I always and so the idea here when I tackle questions like that is to tell them that to turn that into an advantage, because ultimately it's true, because who you are today is due to that career break as well. And that's going to serve you in your next chapter in life.
Thank you so much, Vicky. You want to have a word with them?
Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Loud and clear?
Yeah.
Now, what I never actually took a career break, but my decisions on my career throughout my years of working were based on the balance at home with my kids.
I mean, it's not something, I would say is a very easy choice to make, especially when you're doing well. There are some of you who may have taken a career break because you got to take care of people. And others who have to take a career break because you have to take care of yourself.
Any one of these reasons means that you are forever making choices. And making choices means that you are actually using all the skill sets that you have to negotiate with someone so young and who run around and drive you nuts, to older people who are much older but still can drive you nuts because they're not going to listen to a word you're saying. So I've been in both. Have I had any regrets about the career choices? No. So when you go there, the first thing I would always say to everyone is be proud of who you are. And if the person listening to you, and you're all ladies, you all have that sixth sense, you know what I mean? You already know when someone's not giving you the time of day. It's not you, it's them. And the moment it's them, it means, and you know, that's only because I'm religious, I pray. I think the man upstairs is just telling me, this is not for you. You have a preparation that you're doing right now to listen to some idiot so that when you go and see a good guy, you know the difference. You know what I mean? So that's something I've learned over time. Now, when you say no to a promotion, and I probably did that more years and more times than I can remember since I'm so old, don't let the other person make you feel that you don't know what you're doing. Because very honestly, you do know what you're doing. And that builds up your skill set in managing these situations. You know what I mean? You sort of know you've got to juggle 5 or 6 balls in the air. Here's the thing that you know which one to put down first. You also know when you need your own break. You also know that you're going to spend just this amount of time, and if it runs over, you're not going to get stressed about it. So if you get back into the workforce, now there's a lady I know who said she lost her daughter here. It takes a lot to go through a situation like that. None of us want to lose our children before we go off. So for a person to step back into the workforce to say, I have moaned enough, I am now coming back, kudos to them. But if the people who are talking to you say, not sure, okay, not for you. But at the same time, your grief should only be shared with those who understand. Strangers are going to see you for the first time in 13 years or 4 years again. Unless you maintain contact with them, you only have the first 2 minutes to make an impression. And if you're going to make an impression, share the story that most relates to the person who is looking for you to come and work for them. Eventually, when they find out that you've gone through a loss and they get to know you, then they handle it differently. Make sense?
Yes.
Give me 2 minutes, just adjust the mic. Okay, thank you so much for sharing, Mrs. Prema. Okay, now maybe we can open the questions to the floor. If any of you have any questions that you'd like to ask the guest speakers? Anyone?
I know you're hungry, but.
Anyone has any questions that you all feel like you want, don't be shy, just go out and just ask it. Any questions that you want to ask? Anything?
So Kok Ping Yeng, right? She was at the Great War that
Yes, the news.
What kind of hurdle that she went through when she joined that
It was definitely something. I think 13 years out is definitely something.
What did you have in front?
Yeah, it's actually the goal, like,
So when I decided that I wanted to get back into the workforce, it was definitely a very something that I'm very serious about. That means there was no turning back. So that actually is an advantage. It's something that is important when you go for when you meet with it. Because your hurdle would be to convince them that what you're doing right now is something that is serious about. Because if you put yourselves in your shoes, as all the interactions that I've had, hiring is a very painful process. So it's very important for them that when I choose you, I am making the right decision. I don't want to have someone who's been 6 months later and then I need to go through the painful process. So that actually, of course, the gap itself is the biggest hurdle. So the key important thing here is to be able to convince them that you're serious. It's not something that you just want to, do and then just see if I can try it out properly. If I don't like it, I will just go back to normal routine. So in interviews, you could do that, tell them your story, and convince them that what you have done in the past few years is something that's shaped you, something that is it will be an advantage. Because ultimately, that's what they want to see. As much as they want to see all the skills in there, we also want to see that you will be able to fit into the team. So go there with confident mindset that you will be valuable, that you would be someone who would have impact in the team. If they don't see it, it's fine, just move on, because someone else will. And if that doesn't see it,
Thank you so much for your sharing, Kok Ping. I think we have one question from the guests online, the participants online. The question goes like this. My challenges faced is biases towards age and years of experience. Bringing with me 27 years of experience and being 54 years old, how can we overcome such biases? At times, the biasness is also towards gender, male candidate versus female candidate. Appreciate your thought and advice. Maybe I can give this to you, Mr. Prema, to answer. What?
Oh, I suppose because of the oldest.
It is true. It is true that you do get biased when it comes to age and when you have more experience. By and large, many employers think that the more experience you have, the more they have to pay you, which they can end up paying much less if they get someone who has got lesser experience. Now, I have had my fair share of rejections, and this is very interesting because I've never actually submitted a CV in my life before or done a resume until I reached, what am I now, 66? So it'll be 63 years old when I first submitted a resume. And I cannot believe the number of rejections, ghosting, etc., that I went through. And what it does is it really reduces your self-worth. You wonder whether you are making the right decision. Now, as Ping Yeng said, you have to have this belief in yourself. So I've been on LinkedIn for 1.5 years. My son introduced me to LinkedIn, and we both thought it was a resume platform. So I submitted my resume, especially to companies that said they were strong believers of DEI. Guess what? They also wanted younger fellows. Yeah. And COVID, of course, didn't help. The moment you touch 60, employers all assume that you have comorbidity, okay? And that you're going to die or take medical leave non-stop when you join them. I even had a recruiter who spoke to me at that time, and I said to her, now I run now, I'm one of these weirdos who exercises. So I run, and I said, I'll run with your chairman 8 kilometers. If I beat him, he has to give me an interview, okay? Now she didn't quite get it, like, you know? So you tell yourself, all right, it'll take me a bit of time. but I didn't realize it'd take me 1.5 years. So how did I get the partnership that I'm in now? It's actually a recruiting, placement firm, recruiting firm. Yeah, recruiting placement firm. We do both remote employees and executive placements. How did I get this? I put myself on LinkedIn. So Adeline is it? When Adeline spoke to you about LinkedIn, that is the best B2B platform ever and the best platform to put yourself out there. Now, writing regularly is very daunting in the beginning, like you have no idea if anyone's going to listen to you. I mean, my first post, I think I got charitable 10 likes and no comment. Very charitable 10 likes. And of course, the person said, I didn't know what she's talking about or whatever. So start looking at what other people are writing. Get some more education through what they are thinking and their opinions. And once you do that, get a feel for the things that you want to talk about. So I talk about work. I talk about being a mom. I talk about the fact that I was a daughter and I've lost both my parents due to age and all of that. And people then relate to you. Here's the thing about LinkedIn that I found. People get to know you for who you are through your stories. And once they get to know you and they read your posts, it's easier for them to call you. So I got called, honestly, because of all the postings I did on LinkedIn. And I commented on other people's posts. So I got invited to speak here and then, all of that stuff. But give yourself time. It will not happen overnight. You have to be as persistent and as stubborn as Mila, basically. Tell yourself there is someone out there, there is something out there. So just keep posting, putting yourself out there. You can get rejections, that's fine. All it means is the rejections are preparing you and giving you the steps towards the acceptance that you deserve. That's it. So put yourself out there. What do I think of Facebook? Well, Facebook, I think it's like holiday sort of stuff that people post and they go to the gym. It's very hard to take seriously. Professional platform is still LinkedIn. Writing every day, not easy for everybody. I write 3 times a week because I really don't think I'm that interesting that someone's going to listen to my story every day. So I write 3 times a week, but pick your theme. Or if somebody has written something different that resonates with you, say, I read this post, mention the person's name, because others who follow that person will then read yours as well. And here's what my experience is. Or for those of you who have started this journey, once a week, post about what it is, because there are others, men and women, who will resonate with you. So the more you resonate out there, the greater your chances of being noticed. So put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. You're going to get 0 response, 10 charitable responses, to now where I do get more. And I get people, calling back or asking me to get connected, giving me direct messages, etc. So go out there and do it. Just go out there and do it. Put yourself out there. Yeah? You're not very happy with me. Okay? I mean, you're looking at me like, does she know what she's talking about?
I'm thinking of sharing what you just said, because I have 40 years of experience. I have 40 years of experience. I'm 67 this year. And I've been throwing my CVs for the past 2 years. Mostly rejected. So I kept telling myself, is it the age, the biasness? This is how I feel, it's biasness. And the other point is the experience. 40 years experience, totally. So I don't know how to classify myself, but I am retiring. But I don't give up. I don't give up. I'm still throwing CVs. I just did 2 yesterday. Whatever. My background, my tertiary background is accountancy. Then I have an MBA, and then I got myself into education the last 12 years.
So this is something, I mean, you said I'm angry. No, I'm just putting myself, comparing myself to you because you have been so lucky to have secured something, and I'm still hunting and still throwing CVs at my age. So sometimes I sit back and say, how stupid am I? But I just don't give up.
Here's the other thing you all can do, then this is regardless of age, okay?
Have coffee with your connections. Invite them for coffee. When they get to know you and you get to know them, you see other facets, okay? They may not be the ones who give you something directly, but they may know of someone who might need you and say, can you connect with that person? So that's how I got the connections. I mean, I don't have that many connections. I've got about 2,500, 3,000, which is a very small number. A very small number on LinkedIn. You can ask Adeline that. A good number of connections is about 10,000 according to them. Now, I have no idea how to make friends with 10,000 people. I'm from the baby boomers age. We go depth, we like to get to know people, you know what I mean? So just slowly start building up. You don't have to reach 10,000, but be brave enough to go have coffee with someone, even if it's a stranger. You're not going to believe this, but I'm an introvert. Every job that I've gone for an interview and they do the psychometric test, I'm an introvert. And I almost didn't get a consulting assignment in my younger days because my sociability score was 0. But it means that even if you're all introverts, guess what? You have the chance to become a social extrovert when you need. Go have coffee with people. Go have lunch. People have to eat anyway at some point in time. And everybody would love to have a cup of coffee and just release tension anyway. Go have coffee. Go have lunch. And the only thing I'll tell the young guys who see me is like, your market value is going down, not mine.
If I may add, at the beginning when I was seeing the help, I only told it wasn't until later on that I realized that I don't actually rely on what truly contributes out into to people that was when I started getting so don't just think that I should just go this path. Try to try to find different avenues to get involved. And the more, it's all about numbers, the more opportunities, the more effective your chances.
Oh, yes.
Just to add on, I think just now someone asking about the hurdle and challenges of returning to workforce. So I guess just to add on from my bit of experience, I guess a lot of people will be asking, well, what have you been doing? Why were you not working? Why can't you find an alternative? Why that you rather just let go of career because of this and that? So I guess it's just to stand firm on what is your priority in life. So I think as a woman, we have more priorities because we have children. So I guess being a caretaker, being a mother, so it takes everything just to complete our life as well. So I guess importantly in answering the question must be very confident, and we have to talk about during my career break, what have I done other than taking care of children, for example. So as a personal, I actually started off with an online business as well, which is I was actually working in Shanghai before I actually took a career break to take care of my own daughter. So I actually started out an online business with the Taobao, the Alipay. So it was a very short adventure, so but I did make a little bit of sales, and of course at the end it wasn't profitable, so I closed down the business. So at the end when I returned to work, I think one of the like what is so-called something that we have done, it may not be directly linking to what I'm doing in the future, but it's actually shaped up what I have experienced through. What have I done to go through all these, dealing with foreigners, registering accounts, selling to foreigners, how to buy in prices. So I guess these are all invaluable experience that we can bring up.
And of course, importantly, before you decided to return to workforce, one important thing is to keep up to space on the knowledge. So, actually, I do about 3 to 4 months before I decided to throw in my CVs to headhunters and also all the big corporates. So I actually read through, I actually from finance background. So I actually read through all the regulation, even including the recent budget announcement by the government, because I was in overseas, so I trying to know what happened in Malaysia. So, and I trying to know what happened to the banking industry and finance industry. What are the new accounting standards that I need to know during these 4 years that I was in the gap. So I guess this is very important in like able to answer the employer to give them the confidence. How am I able to keep up to my space of the gap during the 4 years? And how will I need to transition when I on board? How fast can I transit myself and make sure that I keep up the space of your expectation? So that in a way to give them the confidence that yes, I can hire you despite you having a break of 4 years. I think that's very, very important. And really must have the confidence in yourself because you are really worth that. Yeah.
Really worth it. Yes. Like that.
Thank you so much, Jenny, and all the speakers. From what I can hear also, I think having a LinkedIn presence is pretty important, and age is just a number. It's like you'll have to be persistent in what you want, and of course, like how Jenny highlighted, you'll need to keep yourself updated on the market trend, especially on the jobs that you're applying as well. So before I go to the last question, is there any questions from the floor? Like anyone?
Actually, it's something very similar to what Prema mentioned. You can join Prema. Talk about putting to prepare how the individual relate to us, right? Anyone is quite a bit tough for the law, what they want actually. But how we can change the mindset, I think we can change the mindset of the company, especially they have a very conservative mindset. For example, like if for the above get old, I think they're retired, or maybe the old if they prefer younger person because they are more adaptability, for example, they never really think of protection. How we convince them and the problem that I face is the mindset, company culture, and the boss.
Okay, so one of the things that happens to people as they get older like me is that you become more aware of 3 things. What you can change, what you need to accept, and what you need to walk away from. Now, the ones that I can change are the ones that I only have a zone of influence and nothing else. Those situations are very limited. So I console myself that I have to accept that this person's mindset is not going to change, and therefore the job is not meant for me. I prepare myself, therefore, to walk away and to look for something else, which I kept doing for the last 3 years, like these 2.5 years. To walk away from something that I knew was not going to happen. That's very, very hard, because one of the things that you walk away, your self-esteem suffers. You actually find the confidence reducing, so you end up having to find a way to use, whether it's through your own reading, taking a bit of break, or being with friends, people who are honest with you, and tell you. So when I speak to my girlfriends, I get a really good responses. I mean, really, okay, but fine, scary when I speak. And it goes on to where maybe the guy didn't understand you. So even if you're articulate, they may not understand you. It may be too much for them. You know, you don't actually connect. Or if you're a little nervous, they see there's a loss of confidence rather than you coming back after such a long break and finding yourself. You know what I mean? So as you look at the person, you have to decide really for yourself, is this person going to give me the time of day? Can I be honest enough with them to say, listen, I'm really nervous. This is my first interview after so long, and see what they say. Some people will give you the chance. Some people will, I think I better look for another person. No. So it's all the luck of the draw. But you have to decide what you can change, what you have to accept, and what you need to walk away from, because you can't change it. Yeah? Does that help? Not really, but think about it.
You have a question as well?
Yes. My name is Hamza. In relation to your last question before the will you come back and ask for a higher scheme for your position? Because my last position, I'm a senior. So coming back, I would like to actually get a related position with my 10 years experience, but I do not have that experience before.
Okay, so I think the question is more on, like, example, like what she said, she's a senior, before she took a career break, and then when she wants to come back to the workforce, she wants to go more on a managerial role. So how can they, are they allowed to do that, or how can they position themselves to get a manager role? Anyone? Okay.
Yeah, to answer the question, I guess, back to, how do we position ourselves? What have we done to keep up the space of the knowledge when we are returning? So I guess, it depends on the employers and also the job specification, whether it's still more or less the same industry that you worked on before. If it is a yes, and you haven't been, losing that knowledge during your, the break, the time, right? So I guess it's a good trying to ask for it. You are still capable, in a good position, capable to deliver. So, in a way, like, it also depends on the market movement. So sometimes the trend of the offering of the salaries could have been going up. So I can take advantage of trying to blend into the market. But depending on the situation, again, it depends whether it's still the same industry. So we may or more. So perhaps more like allowing ourselves like half a year. Then from there we can then ask for more. So it also really what's the management preference in like offering us a position depending on what we've done during the current week. I think what we have done during the knowledge catch-up is really important to convince that can we secure a higher position after we return. Yeah, that's a very main important factor to consider. Yeah. Not sure I'm answering.
The first question for all the panels, whether you were entering at the same position or at the higher all the panels.
Go at the same level. You could tell them that that's how you believe yourself to be, just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? They say no, right?
Yes.
But better for you to know about that than not to know it or not to have tried. So go for the same position, tell them that you're not seeking anything less than what you were responsible for before. That's my advice. Right?
Yes.
And I've had a few candidates who've come to us before who've had 1 year, anywhere between 1 to 3 years of career break for various reasons. Same position. You? No, I'm fine.
For me, I choose to have the same love. I told myself that that's the way I hold myself. I told myself that if there's anything to work, I'm not going to do something because that's what I may have taken a very long time. I mean, actually, it's true, you know, but you should know where you stand and you should know what to do. And if it's anything that you cannot accept, because you're not going to be happy. And if you're not going to be happy every day, you just, just dragging yourself there. And it's not going to be better. So I would rather just wait a little bit longer to get something that you truly want and something that you're comfortable with, rather than support something.
In case I seek out back to my manager title. Yeah, so after the 4 years break, I didn't lose it. But of course, because in terms of the break, I do give a little bit of, so-called like discount. Like in a way, I don't try to benchmark too high. I'm just trying to go along with the market rate. Although I have an international exposure, but I didn't want to get that a premium when I return. So in a way, I just start continuing as if I didn't take a break. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions?
Hi, my name is Chitra. So, previously I was a medical doctor before I took a 4-year break and I went and did my master's. So now I'm looking to enter the workforce, but from a corporate non-clinical side of things. So for me, I think with my master's and my MD, I'm a little bit, well, I have qualifications, but I seem to have difficulty getting placements or interviews. And so I find myself actually applying for entry-level roles. I was wondering if there was any advice or whether I should be molding myself, because I've worked for 4 years before I resigned, whether I should be going for a middle entry or, how do I position myself basically? Any ideas?
Have you kept up with your connections while you were doing your masters and took that break?
So I would say no, because my connections were back in the healthcare industry and they're all in government. So I wasn't in private. So right now I'm trying to transition to a private sector at the very least.
But in medical line, in healthcare or not in healthcare at all?
Out of healthcare.
Out
So
of
for my
healthcare.
masters, I made some connections through my masters. They're all out of healthcare.
Okay.
Here's the thing about starting in a new area. Well, your MD and your master's is actually very, very impressive. If you're going to start in a new area, unfortunately, you either have to take a lateral move or a notch below, because if the MD qualification and the masters don't actually impact that particular career trajectory, then you are really starting at the same level as the others. But the other thing I would advise those who are older than 45, 50, please mix around with the millennials and the Gen Z. They are extremely helpful in getting, because you're adaptable from what I can see, they're extremely helpful in being able to share their experiences and their opinions about how a situation is. I mean, for those of us like maybe, for many years, and sometimes when they're talking, we sort of think we already know the answers, but tell yourself to just shut up and listen to them to the end. And when you come back, you'll actually be infused with an understanding of how they're approaching it. So your way of solving a problem, because of your background, for example, is the process of elimination. It cannot be this, it cannot be this, it cannot be this, it cannot, therefore it's this. If you're going into an industry where it's more artistic, they are not going to think that way. So mix with them, get to know them, find a different side of their personality, and start from there. The rise, though, is faster for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Good on you.
So, I think, the last question that we have is like, how many of them here took a career break because of, raising a child?
Oh, good for you, man.
Right, so the question is like, more on like if someone who is planning to have a kid, and once they have a kid, they are kind of 50-50, should I take a career break or not to raise a child? And during the career break, how do I keep myself updated with the trends, or how, if I want to go back to the workforce, is it okay for me to go back to the workforce, or is it okay for me to take a career break? Sometimes mom, they're very easy to take that career break. Because like me having my sister, she has no time for the kids. So what I do is every weekend I have to rush back so that I spend more time, and that my nephew is just attached to me compared to the parents, because they're very busy people. And I think I had a chat with my sister, and she said that she's not sure whether she's ready for a career break or not. But once she takes the career break, can she come back to the workforce or not? So do you have any advice for that?
That's both of you now.
So I took the river to raise kids. At that time, it was just one boy. Now I'm two. So it's a very tough decision. It's not easy. There are many areas that need to be partnered. One is choose whether you are able to do it. And of course, I always thank my lucky stars because I have the option. A lot of people, a lot of mothers I know, really wanted to take care of what what we grow up to become. So for me, if you want and you really think that you regret not doing it, that's because I thought about it, I actually wrote it along with you. Because I know that at the end, I will regret that because I really, really wanted to watch them grow up. At the same time, I knew that I'm not the kind of mother who could just watch them. I needed to do something else. So actually, along the way, I did many things. I'm from a banking background, but when I stopped work, I learned new skills, and nowadays with the internet and everything. So one of it that interested me was web design. Totally unrelated to banking. So I learned web design on my own, and then after that, I started my own company to sell web design. And that went on a while, and then after that, I dabbled into social media, and then after that, I started another business to sell handmade handcrafted things. So if you, for me, that is also an important one, because when you come back to work, that will help you fill up the gap on top of your kids. Because then you will show them that you are someone who is constantly trying to improve. That's what they're looking for. So if you intend to take a break, firstly, you have to make a conscious decision that it's not going to be easy. It's something that you have to ask yourself deep inside whether you can make it better. For me, it was because I couldn't. It's all I could think about when I was looking at. I just want to rush to see the child. So I knew that I didn't want to do a half-day job at work at my office, and then I couldn't. At the same time, I couldn't spend time with kids. It's just it's just ridiculous because I just can't afford. I mean, to make a decision, you must know that it's for me. I knew that I would do that. Some people I was surprised on my work. So that's something that you need to have in mind with the decision. And at the same time, learn new skills when you're not working. So that will help you later on if you intend to come back.
My question is to Adeline. Actually, it will also be relevant to Madam Yu Jing. All that leaders, right? All the things that you do while on a career break, did you document it? Because for me, I feel like first you had to get called to an interview, then you can tell them a story, right? But for them to be able for you to get their attention is through your documentation, right? Now that I know about LinkedIn, all that section, thanks to Madam Prema. But before that, how do you document all that pillars, your resume?
Did you? Yes, did. Otherwise, honestly, my resume would be so blank. It's 30 minutes. So I would actually write them down, some of the achievement. It may not be a multi-million-dollar company, but it's good enough to show that you really proactive. So that actually helps a lot. I mean, after all, when you go and meet them, I mean, of course, the first hurdle is to get that interview. Once you get that interview, then explain it. That's
For me, that time, I did not have a LinkedIn then. So actually, everything is just a paper resume, and I did not actually elaborate on that. The only thing that I have been very honest with it is like there's a 4 years gap of my career break, and I stated that just one line. So I did not elaborate. So it's only like upon interview, then we actually, myself, I actually elaborated detail during the interview. But actually, surprisingly, the 4 years, to me, then it was very long. So, but apparently to the potential employers, they didn't see that as something too big. They were just asking basically, what have you been doing in 4 years? And actually just get through more of like, they are more focusing on the question like I have explained just now. What have you learned? How do you keep up to date with regulation and rules? And what is in your plan that to make sure that you are able to catch up after I hire you? Like, roughly how long do you foresee you can deliver based on the expectation and KPIs? I guess this is really the transition part that they are more interested rather than exactly list down the 10 items that you have done during a career break. It's more based on trust because it's already in history. So whatever in the history is not really going to bother them if I were to hire you or not, unless it's a criminal outcome. So I guess it's really not so zoomed in during my time because I was only a short 4 years, not so long as Ping Yeng's. So I guess that's why for her case, I think it's really, I do agree that you have a linking, you document it down, it's really very beneficial. Yeah, because there's so many things that she has done. Yeah, compared to mine is mainly only one online business, and that's the main thing about it. Yeah.
Thank you. Right, thank you so much, speakers. I think just to summarize the session, is basically aim with a number. You all have to just be persistent, update your LinkedIn, and you can see whether you are taking a 1 year career break or all the way to 13 years career break, there is a chance for you to return to the workforce. So it's just how you position yourself to the employer and how are you going to make the first 2 minutes, the first impression that matters. So again, please just give a round of applause to our speakers. Thank you, Kok Ping Yeng and Madam Prema for your time. With that said, we will be ending the session here. I would like to say thank you so much to all the participants for being here today with us and giving a huge opportunity for HIREDLY to be a part of this session. I'll be passing the mic to the Talent Corp team to have a word or two. Just give us a moment, yeah?
Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Okay, wow, I'm really proud of the audience today, not just the virtual, the physical audience. There were so many questions and challenging questions as well. And I'm really sorry if there's any questions that wasn't addressed, either physical or virtual audience. But good news, at WCC, HIREDLY will have a dedicated resume clinic, and you can ask them your questions there as well. And please, for today's session, we really need you to share your feedback so we can create and partner with more people to bring you programs that can be beneficial for your journey returning to work. So take the time to scan for a while. And I think the link will also be shared in the Zoom webinar chat room. All right, next slide. Don't forget, WCC this Saturday at Grand Nexus Ballroom from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can see the whole agenda in the registration link as well. And there will be about 30 companies advocating for flexible work arrangements, DEI policies, and please feel free to bring, if you have your own personalized business card, that's the time when you can network with companies at 3 to 5 p.m. as well. We also will be having a learning experience in the care sector economy. If you think that you need to be someone from healthcare to be able to join the care sector economy, no. Anyone can join the care sector economy. So care sector needs people from finance, admin, sales, marketing. They even need people to do poster design, for example, and educate, and many types of jobs in the career of care sector economy, so that you can approach the booth, whether it's managed care and kiddo care. And I would like to, as part of Talent Corp's appreciation to HIREDLY, we would like to pass like goodie bags to all the speakers. Maybe Adeline, Joselyn, Prema, Jing Ying, and also Yu Ping. Yeah, can we get a group photo together? So maybe everyone can stand from the seat. How? Oh, everyone come to this front, okay? So maybe everyone can gather up. Okay, guys. Yes. Okay.